Hello, everyone. We are here. Sorry for a couple minutes delay. I hope everyone has had a good week this week. Sorry it took a little bit for me to get the thumbnail ready. I wanted to have this ready sooner, but it's been a pretty busy week for us. And so I just want to go through and say hello to everybody. Hello, happy thoughts. You're looking forward to another interesting chat. Hopefully we won't let you down. And hello, Keith. Let's see, J Mars, Alice, and we have Dallas and Jeff. Hello, Jeff. We're so glad you're here. I like that. Keith says, "Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Sicknesses." I like that. That's funny. And hello, Willie. Willie B. I like that name. Okay, so, of course, we're just here to hang out with everybody as well. Doesn't have to be any particular topic that we have to stick with. One that we created today was about the lawsuits that just kind of piled up with Watchtower. And we thought we'd just kind of go over all the different lawsuits that they're having and just trouble that they're having across the world. Is there one in particular?
Keith Silver.
He had done one on Brumley before, and I thought maybe it would be good to kind of clarify.
Well, that wasn't necessarily a lawsuit. That was a fine. That's where fines, he had perjured himself in court. Mm-hmm. And he was fined $154,000 for perjuring himself in Montana and delaying the courts and the verdict there.
Okay,
and
well, what
affected
did he say?
The verdict.
What did he say that?
I don't know exactly what the lie was. I know he delayed the courts with it. Let's see what it was.
So it was, he lied about something. We're trying to remember what it was. He's going to find out. And then, of course, we know.
So he conveniently omitted the real reasons why the organization stopped collecting contributions for their literature. In his stories as contained in July 2025 Watchtower Study Edition, the question remains, why then lose in courts? Well, that has nothing really to do with it. He just lied in court. He perjured himself and delayed the courts is really what he did.
Stan. Stan says he lied about the shunning too.
Yeah, he lied about shunning. It was the CSA stuff. He lied about the CSA records.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
let's see. Okay.
So and he perjured himself in court. That's serious stuff.
Right. And then if you go back further,
guys, you have to excuse me. I drove all night long from Alabama to home. My father's in the hospital, so I am bushed.
Yeah, he's been sleeping.
I am beat.
Tried to get him to come in here, so he's not going to be like completely coherent.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
anyways, and she's under the weather a little bit.
Yeah, a little, but it's okay. It's not that bad. But so that might be why the delay in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And getting the live stream going. But as far as I just thought, what should we talk about this week? And I thought, well, there's just all of these constant piles up of not just lawsuits against the CSA, but it's also like this latest thing with Sweden. It's not a lawsuit or anything, but Watchtower is asking for financial aid from Sweden, and Sweden said no, not unless you follow these certain criteria. The criteria being that you cannot shun people who have left, who are former members. You can't ostracize people, and you can't discriminate against their sexual orientation. So these are the reasons why they're not giving money. And it's not just to Watchtower, it's anyone who doesn't comply with those.
Happy thoughts. Yes, he will be okay, hopefully. He has a mild touch of dementia, and he was lost in the woods overnight, and he had a heart attack. So, it worsened it, and they're going to have to send him to rehab. And You know, he's 90, almost 90 years old. So
Yeah.
and he was out gathering herbs, and it got dark on him, and he very in touch with his Native American roots. So
And he fell into like a 20-foot deep hole.
Ravine. Yeah, it was not really a hole. It was an old riverbed, and it washed down like 20-foot banks on each side. So when he fell down in there,
get up.
yeah,
Had
and
to
he
be
was
rescued.
disoriented. Yeah.
Hello, Pam. Let me just say hello to a few others. The desert has water.
No. It was not in the desert though.
No, that's the name of somebody's name.
Oh,
the
cool! I
desert
love
has
that.
Water.
Yes, the desert does have lots of water, actually. If you know where to
desert.
look.
And the truth that leads to everlasting strife. I like that too.
Thank you for asking, Happy Thoughts.
Yeah. There's got to be a critical mass where active JWs start to realize all the stuff they're dealing with isn't persecution, that something is wrong with the organization. Exactly. And they want to act like they're, anytime things don't go their way, they're being persecuted, and it's Satan's system and this wicked world and blah, blah, blah. And that's not at all the case. It's just, hey, you are doing things that we would call a violation of human rights, like, for example, shunning, and you think that you want to keep doing those things and at the same time ask for money. I don't think so. And Dallas, you're so funny. I love all of your little sayings. They just are, they ring true all the way. Like this one here, that the lie that leads to eternal torment. Whoa, that sounds scary. Hello, Jenny Parfume. What's that saying? Prosecution isn't persecution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things going on with that, with the ruling in Sweden and what's coming up in Norway. And Norway's new laws that they have enacted, it's not looking good for the JWs there neither, which is a good thing because they're now being exposed throughout the world for what they do.
Right.
And that's a wonderful thing.
With Norway, their thing was shunning, which they believe is a violation of human rights. Right. And there may be some, apparently there's going to be a live stream about that. Hopefully avoidjw.org is going to try to get their hands on this, and it's going to be happening in February. So you can stay tuned for that one on their website. And then let's see. The CSA stuff is just ongoing, never ending, constant. Oh, and another thing is stuff that we don't really talk about as much, but it's about crime in general, like not just CSA stuff, like
true crime.
Yeah, they're true crimes. I mean, it's like unaliving stuff or people. Maybe not stuff. No, people. I can't say these words properly on YouTube. So, anyways, it's the unaliving people. Also, I think there was like there's been cases of some Jehovah's Witnesses that were they were not stealing. It was what do you call it when they are you know, they're taking money from people and they're sneaking with it.
Embezzling?
Yeah, embezzling money and scamming, stuff like that. And there was actually there was one on avoidjw.org where there was a man who well, of course, you know what he did, CSA stuff, go figure. But it seemed like there were some more things he had done, and I had read over that. But I just saw that it was definitely CSA, and seemed like there was something else, but I have to double check. His name is Scott Merritt. So if anybody has heard this story, so just crime, And I would also like to mention as what I call JW true crime. JW true crime. I believe that what?
You're doing a video on this, aren't you?
Yeah. Right. Well, just a little heads up for all of my loyal followers here. You get a little sneak peek here. Not just a sneak discussion, we'll say, not peek really. But I'm going to do one on JW true crime. And there, I do think that the no blood transfusion thing is also a crime, because you may have seen there was a little boy in one of their latest our life and ministry articles about a little boy, and I think it was in the 90s, that he needed a blood transfusion. He had cancer, and his parents said no, and he died. And I think he was like 11. And I'm sorry, but that's unaliving.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that the parents were also oh no, I was thinking, were they? Yeah, I think that at first, didn't the courts say that they were responsible or something? And then, but then they decided, I'm not sure what happened. Somehow the parents were not found guilty. But, there was always like this situation where they consider parents that do these things irresponsible and neglectful parents. So it's definitely, I mean, I would think that a lot of people would consider it a form of unaliving. So those are kind of like the things that are happening, things that have happened for off and on for years and years. So the constant lawsuits, the constant shunning, the lying in court, it's just never ending with them. And you may have noticed this, but most Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to lie. Because if you're a worldly person, you're not worth it. You don't need to know the truth about anything other than what the truth about the
it's great to lie to you if you're not one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes, but even within being Jehovah's Witness,
well, if you're not in good standing,
they really just lie in general. But they're definitely going to lie even more so to the worldly people. Okay. I was just going to say hello to a few more people. They said hi to Joey. Joey was here.
Oh, okay. So let's look at this.
Yeah. The embezzlement isn't a crime. It's only a sin. Jeff says. Yeah. Right. They would say that for sure. You can suffer forever with parasites in hell. Wow. Okay. King of the Dots. Hello. I like that name. King of the Dots. Okay. And hello, Helen. I'm shunned, disfellowshipped for inhaling a vape. What? 71 and cut off for my grandchildren.
Inhaling a vape. Wow.
Yeah. Well, they don't believe you can't do cigarettes. Can't do cigarettes, or vaping or any of that. 71 and cut off from my grandchildren, yet look what they are doing. I tried to tell some of them, but was blocked. Oh, that is just silly that they would shun someone over vaping or smoking cigarettes. But whenever there is an actual crime happening, they want to brush that under the rug and ignore it.
Keith Silver, absolutely. It's theocratic. They consider it theocratic warfare, which is not biblical, because God says you can't be in the presence of a lie. Thou shalt not lie. You shouldn't even lie to a sinner, because you shouldn't lie. But they find a way to lie.
Oh, King of the Dot says, isn't a bronchial inhaler vaping?
Yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only what you're inhaling, I guess, is the problem, right? So do we know about the Johannes Graber? Of course. Yes, Johannes Graber, New World Translation. For those of you who don't know and maybe haven't heard of this, is that
brother. I like that.
Johannes Graber's wife was a spirit medium, and he used to be, I believe he was at one time a Catholic priest who was excommunicated, and then he was married, and then
don't shut it, he'll come right back.
And then his wife was a spirit medium claiming to talk to spirits, and then they translated some of the Bible, one of it being John 1:1, and that's where Jehovah's Witnesses took those verses from Johannes Graber's wife's translation and used it to fit their own narrative, because the New World Translation they have made it to fit their doctrine as best as possible. Yeah.
Nothing has really changed the attitude towards disfellowship when it's going back to what it was. Yeah, it probably is. Yes, the liars.
Well, and see, that's another thing. They've made some changes supposedly to make it seem like they're not violating human rights because of what's happened with Norway and other countries who said, you know what, this isn't okay. You can't do this. So instead of saying, well, we're not going to use the word disfellowship, we're going to use the word removed, like that means anything different. And we'll just go up to them and say hello at the meetings. Okay, that's definitely a new thing, because used to you couldn't say them anything at all to them. Now you can say hello at the meeting only. You're not really supposed to have any kind of conversation. So silly.
And Jeff, that is 100% correct. And you'll see this a lot with JWs. It says, looking back, we were taught to lie in ministry so often that when people wanted to answer uncomfortable questions about Jehovah's Witnesses, we were taught how to be evasive as hell.
Yep, I remember being evasive. Hello, Jane Spitfire. In fact, I remember a time whenever there was a man who was asking about the whole shunning thing, and this was through text message, and I got nervous. I was like, oh my goodness, how did he know about that? And then and then so we were always told to just tell people, oh, it's just kind of like a timeout, when a kid to discipline the children when they do wrong, they're in timeout, and that's how you treat them. And that's what I told him. And then I told him about shared him the article about there was a Watchtower where, you don't talk to the disfellowship ones. Silly. So, but it's not a timeout. It's a permanent timeout. Like, what if you decide that you no longer wish to remain a Jehovah's Witness, but no hard feelings? No, you have to be in permanent timeout. I'm thinking of putting a pretty sparkle tree in my window. Ooh, I love those. Yeah, now that we're coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Eggnog time.
Let's see. Jehovah's Witnesses should be required to give potential members a document that discloses if they change their mind, they will lose JW family and friends permanently. Yes, that would be great. Hello, Lioness. I agree with you, and but tell that to a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah,
they're not going to understand. But I mean, I wouldn't think they would, but adults would for sure. But maybe it would. It would probably make them apprehensive to join, even as children. Be like, you might, if you do wrong, you're gonna get in trouble.
Well, the organization itself is built on so many lies. It's like, let me, you asked them a question. Oh, let me go research that, and I'll get back with you. And they'll go look it up in their book, and or look it up online. Get back to you on one verse that they've taken way out of context to try to describe something that has nothing to do with the point that you're trying to make. But with that verse, it sounds correct, but it has nothing to do with what it's really about. And they're notorious for that. It's cherry picking scripture and taking it out of context.
Yep. Hello, exjw activist. And hello, Mama Sue. And is it let's see, who else have we? Oh, Beverly. Hello, Beverly. And when Helen says that
Jenny Parfum is correct.
She can't stop vaping. It's her only comfort. You stopped smoking after COVID, but it wasn't good enough. I would say just lie to them. If you want to go back to speak to your family, don't tell them the truth. I mean, that's what you have to do. They lie, you can lie back. And unfortunately, that is the only way. I'm not promoting lying, but with them, it's the only way. Or the less they know about your life, the better off you are. And something Wally said once, I thought it really was true. It's not about what you did, it's about who knows about it that gets you in trouble.
Hey, Jenny. And yes, JWs find the concept of confessing to a priest ridiculous, but at the same
I
time, the
know.
elders decide when someone is shunned or forgiven, and that is
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
Right. And their
Good point.
confession, they do confession. Jehovah's Witnesses do
And AJ.
confessions. You're to confess your sins to the elders, just for them to in turn judge you and punish you. See, a confession to a priest is not to turn around and judge you and punish you. It's for you to be redeemed and to be forgiven and to maybe do a few like prayers and things like that to work on. It's not for you to be punished per se. And Jehovah's Witnesses are all about punishment. And again, all goes back to who knows about what you did, not what did you do, who knew about it. That's all they care about.
If the elders know, everybody knows. They just don't. Yeah.
But then
They're gossipers.
They can judge you for something that they know, that they found out about you.
Like I used to tell her, the elders would tell me who was going to be disfellowshipped and what for, and I would tell her, and sure enough, on Thursday there it would happen. But Helen Angelis, 4252. Hello. I tested going back and was particularly shoved out of the Kingdom Hall. I told one of the elders how hypocritical they are and that they reminded me of the Pharisees, and you're so true.
That is exactly
and welcome
how
to
they
the
are.
channel.
Yeah, that's the only thing, like going back to the Kingdom Hall. Oh God, I don't even know how anybody can handle that personally, because we went a couple of months ago and it just felt so awkward, and they're just like so like just they're nosy and anxious, and who are you? What are you doing here? And that, like, my goodness, stop with a third degree. And
yeah, being marked, that's true.
I was wanting to know something that I am confused on. My mom said that, they recently went out in field service and they've just had so many people asking questions about they don't like how things are going. So
hey, Matthew.
Who is supposed to, I want to know, what does the Bible say about the future? Because they don't like the way things are going in the country. And I'm just like, did people really ask this? I'm just wondering if she's telling the truth. Maybe. And then she said that there was a lady who got baptized about 3 years ago. I was like, well, okay, well, how did she encounter the witnesses? Oh, door to door. And I thought, that's rare. And now 3 years later, she has her daughter, who's an adult, converting, and her daughter's husband is not interested. But I thought, what in the world did she tell these people to convince them that this was the so-called truth? I wish I could get more of the story, the backstory, because in the end, there's definitely something's up. People don't do that for no reason. Hello, Maverick.
And
hello, Matthew. And let's see. Stan.
Mama Sue.
Wait. Jane says, do you know the original reason why Jehovah's Witnesses never wanted members to not go to college? It was because college first started resembling way taught monks. What? Resembling, the way that the monks taught? Huh. I didn't know that. I thought it was just because they were scared that you would go into college and learn something other than what they want you to know. Because when you're in a little bubble, you're supposed to only know what's in the bubble. And you go outside the bubble, you're going to learn something outside of the bubble, and that's not okay. So that's the problem with college.
And Tootie brother. JWs can smoke medical marijuana, but no cigarettes. Now light. Yeah.
Oh, well, someone was asking about the CBD stuff. That is like a gray area. Like they're okay with CBD as far as I know, if it's meant to help you. The medical marijuana, I think that would just be like if it's it had to be prescription. But the other stuff would just be like the over-the-counter CBD, I think is fine. but might depend on the person. I asked the Pharisees, can I take a drug that affects my mind and spaces me out? They said no. I said, I have a prescription. They said, that's okay. Oh my
Who said that?
goodness. Stan. Oh my goodness. No, you can't have that. Oh, the doctor said it's okay. Okay. That's so silly.
Fault finding is good. I do it, but it just started with small fruits. The desert has water. Okay. It's not really fault finding. It's finding the lies that they teach. The faults are the lies. They teach so much false doctrine. They take one verse out of context and build a doctrine around it. And it has nothing to do with what the verse is truly about that's in the chapter. Mm-hmm. They're notorious for doing
that. Okay, Sue said she's not getting notifications. So
Matthew said that too, by the way.
I just put this out like literally 25 minutes before the live stream started.
Which means it should have showed top in your live feed.
Unless maybe it didn't show because I did it last minute. That may be what happens. Sometimes you have to do it sooner. Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay. Hello, Grow. Grow's here.
Yeah, looking at all the stuff that the Jehovah's Witnesses have lied in court about. I mean, just also take a look at the Canadian court where the lawyer got up and spoke and said they do not shun. They disfellowship, but they can still carry on with normal family relations. Oh, biggest lie ever told in a courtroom.
Mm-hmm. And I believe he got in trouble for that. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but wasn't his license revoked? Do you know?
I don't know. Yeah. No, I mean,
I believe something happened.
I know Vern had said something that they were looking into or something.
Yeah, unless someone else knows here. But that was a big thing. Of course, we know an Australian Royal Commission with Jeffrey Jackson.
Yes.
Stating that, that would be presumptuous of us to claim that we speak for Jehovah. Maybe that was true, though, actually. But he's lying to the members about it. Hi, Cedric. And hello. Linus says, I faded.
Welcome, Linus, to the channel.
Yeah, which we mentioned.
Faded 30 years ago. Wow.
30 years ago, after elders tried to force me to reconcile with my abusive, cheating husband because he was a ministerial servant. Oh my gosh. Stupid. Yeah. They want people to be miserable in there.
Yeah, they like to meddle in your business. That's true. And then they want to hold women in there for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, but if it's definitely.
And yes, Happy
women
Thought.
And children.
There is a book that tells them how to lie in court. And it's also a book telling them how to try to get custody of their children. I saw that with Jason Zelda done an excellent job covering that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do the...
So if anybody hadn't saw that, Jason Zelda put that on his channel. It's really good to watch that.
Okay, I'm going to also copy the link here.
Okay.
I haven't done this.
In a while.
Yeah. Here's the link in the comments here if you want to join in on the... Come onto the stage. Did it show up properly? Okay.
It did show up.
Okay.
Watch us partake for the first time last year. Oh, I like it.
Any thoughts about Anthony Morris III? I saw people were asking about that. They actually saw that
several months ago. They put a lot of his videos back up. They edited them and put them back up. Mm-hmm. Remember, I don't know if anybody was paying attention, but they took a lot of them down. And then now they've edited them and put a lot of them back up. Not all, but most. And that is weird. No reason why. But he lives in North Carolina. He obviously must be attending the Kingdom Halls on Zoom.
If at all.
Yeah, he was a true believer. I don't know if he still is now.
No way he could be now because, first of all, he got to the top. He didn't want the changes that they made about the beards and the dress code and all that. And he was most likely outnumbered. Oh, wow. And so they kicked him out. No longer governing body member, still a part of the 144,000. I would think that at this point, there's no way he could think 100% that this is true.
90
That's what
minutes
I would
edited to
say. I don't
60
know.
minutes. Yeah, something like that, right?
For what?
The desert has water said 90 minutes edited 60 minutes. Yeah, something like that. You can look through them and
For
see and
what?
find the original ones because there's one website that posts a lot of the original ones.
Okay.
What's that website you can go to?
What are you talking about?
The place where they post a lot of the original JW videos, and you can go find them there.
JW Facts?
Is it JW Facts where you can find the videos in their
Oh.
entirety, the originals?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a website you can find a lot of them, and you can compare and see where they've been edited.
Watch us partake for first time last year. Paulie, hello, Paul. Oh, Paul, I'm sorry. Watch us partake for the first time last year. So you did partake? Wow. I've seen it online too. Some people have done that. I would be like, I'm too shy for that. At this point, they need to do a Watchtower study article about Bigfoot, Big, and the Yeti. It'll be more believable than the stuff they're currently telling people. I know. Yeah, so the theme is Watchtower in trouble in the courts. It's essentially liability deflection, and the idea is to make the opposition work hard, consume mental bandwidth. Yeah, that's the topic we chose today. Of course, we can talk about anything else. And I just noticed that it's always lots of lawsuits, lots of court, lots of begging for money to Sweden, for example, or in Norway, they're telling them, hey, we don't agree with your shunning. There's always some issues.
LFH 7287. I'm not a JW member, but married a JW wife. We have 3 kids, and now I'm experiencing serious hostility and abuse. I do not want my kids in that religion. How can I possibly do that? Please, any advice? Everybody, guys, let's chime in on this because we all know changing someone that's a hardcore believer is very difficult. First, you got to show them in a very kind and loving way as possible that they're in a false religion, that they're spreading lies. 1914 is good. The fact they joined the UN is good. You can go to un.com or we'll post the link in this video. You'll see it. And you can read the letter the UN has posted about it.
Try to wake her up if you can.
Yeah.
Also, if you try those things like sharing the fact that they joined the UN, also proving that 1914 is not correct date.
That's an easy one.
It's very easy to disprove.
Yeah. Lots of historical information.
If you're wanting to protect your children, if you'll have to talk to your children about, not letting them get brainwashed into that. And sometimes abusive situations you can't stay in.
And some people, not all, but some people will read Matthew 28:18 and realize that all authority was given to Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
The day he was ascended into heaven, not in 1914.
Matthew 28, verse 18.
Yeah, on this day, all authority in heaven and on earth was given to me,
Jesus,
to Jesus
not
Christ.
In 1914. Hello, time will pass, and we'll add Matthew.
Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
It's all him in a while.
Defending.
Hey, man. I love it.
Legally
Jazz hand.
Good news.
Oh, what's he got?
Defending.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Good. How are you all?
Doing wonderful, man.
How are you?
Yeah.
That's great.
So you know the book of the day.
He's got the book with jazz hands. I love it.
Well, how old is the book?
It was printed in the 70s, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's an older version. That might be the 68, 69 version.
I don't know. What year is that book, Matthew?
Let's have a look.
Joey here.
Man, I'm going to have to try and focus my eyes on this.
Is it old?
Copyright. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, bear with me here.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. I'll be reading some of the comments. When I grew up in the hall starting in 75, our hall was 75% anointed.
Oh, 1950.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. That is
1950.
50, folks.
Ooh, okay. Do they still
Wow.
use this
That
book?
is the old. Yeah, they do. They have different versions of it.
So it was only handed to elders?
Yes.
I wish I
Didn't
could.
they
So I
give it
can
to
tell you what happened outside. We burned all our legal books and all the things that were in the courts. We burned all the transcripts. We destroyed them. That's what happened. It was under my care, and somebody came in because I was the service overseer, and somebody came in and destroyed it all. Essentially, it was an alleged theft because it comes under the service overseer, and they came in and they took the whole lot. They did not ask me. When I pursued it, I was told don't pursue it and don't ask about it.
Oh, wow.
But if they had if the circuit overseer had come in and wanted to, he could have had me arrested because that was a theft and I was responsible for it. So yeah, damn. So all those transcripts, all that information on what to do in a court, yeah, this is my own private library is all that survived.
Wow.
But I have a better library now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I wish
I
I
can
could get
see.
me one of those books. So they were given out to elders mostly.
Sometimes you find them on eBay, but they're usually pricey.
Because was it only given to elders, Matthew?
Oh, I don't know. It's very compartmentalized. So whoever is involved in, yeah, okay, let's put it this way: if you're involved in something where there is a potential liability, of course you're going to be prepped, and you would get this kind of thing. But you'd get the up-to-date one.
Okay.
You get the up-to-date prep.
Like I knew when people were going through divorces, they would give the person that was trying to get custody of their children, they would give them and their lawyer this book.
Okay.
But I think the way Brother Hicks had told me, they wanted the book back,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
So all I can do is I can tell you what happened. There's the end. Copyright 1950. Thank you. So all I can do is tell you what happened when I was subpoenaed to court. I was told, do not venture into any kind of statement without our leading you in, and absolutely keep your statements to a minimum. And that was it.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and
it's good. That's good legal advice. Keep everything to a minimum.
wow. Keith says he has an autographed C.T. Russell Studies in the Scriptures set by IBSA. I've been given an appraisal at 18,000 International Bible Student
Association.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How did you get that? That's what I'd like to know.
I know, an original? That's impressive.
I know. Yeah, maybe it's worth a lot of money if you can get.
Yeah, some of that stuff, money. Then you go to eBay and just shake your head like, who's buying this?
I know. Well, maybe there are people who like religious history.
Like Our Lord Saved by Joseph Franklin Rutherford. That book is crazy expensive. I just got lucky.
Lioness says Tony Tight Pants saying was disgustingly makes you wonder with him getting caught buying expensive whiskey why none of the other Facebook didn't report. Facebook? Wait, FB. What's that? Didn't report him. You know what that is? FB. Well, I guess because, first of all, it's not against the rules to go and buy whiskey.
No, it's not. Macallan's is a good choice, too. I guess if I was going to buy scotch, that would be one of them.
You have to be caught being drunk. That's the difference.
And I like if it's a good scotch.
Being caught drunk just puts you into the club.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You just claim you're full of the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
I think, it was kind of odd because I look at right before he got sent away at some of his speeches, he did appear as if he was drinking.
Oh, that could be the problem too.
Yeah.
Some people were saying that maybe that's why he was asked to to remove as a governing body member.
Well, at first I thought it was just, because I look at everything skeptical and I was like, he's not drinking and giving speeches. And I went back and looked at him and was like, oh, yeah, maybe he is. His face was all red. You're like, got it.
Hello, Jay Warren says that he was raised in the cult. Now I troll online as a less harmful cult leader.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I love his
all
picture.
For staying free from their abuse.
Wait a minute. Did he leave the People's Temple?
I was raised in that disgusting cult. Which one? Jim Jones.
Was he raised in the People's Temple or the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Which cult are we talking about?
Well, because they have similarities in something. That's scary.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, you've got all sorts of cults coming into your channel here.
Evidently, my friend.
It's not exclusive to JW. You got, yeah.
That's true.
The People's Temple, that would be kind of interesting. I'd love to have a conversation with some of those people.
We need a few UFO cults, sort of dropping by.
Oh, what was the people that
Hi, Artsy Kim. She's on
mutilated their bodies?
I don't know.
Oh, come
on.
on.
A Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate.
Yeah. But they have just one cult leader and not multiple. And that's why Jehovah's Witnesses don't think they're a cult, because you always think of it as just one person that leads a group, but it can be several.
If anybody has ever been in any cult, Jehovah's Witnesses or any other, please reach out to us at factsonjw@gmail.com. We'd love to interview you.
Oh, yeah. And then there's another one, the FLDS, the Fundamental Latter-day Saints.
Definitely would love to interview you for that one.
And maybe Jeff Warren.
Warren Jeffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that guy's name on here, it was, where did I find it here? Oh, it was J. Warren Jones.
I
which
know.
Is so funny. Jeff
Warren Jones. I love it.
You got all the cults, a couple of them listed in there.
All he needs is the order put on there, and he's good to go.
What about the Watchtower?
Oh, yeah.
But JW, that would be good. Throwing W in. Oh, wait, no. W's already
in there.
The J
and the W are capitalized.
Oh, yay. You got several.
Those are really cool.
That's a good one. Smart. I like that name. Are there more cults with multiple leaders?
With multiple leaders. What do you think, Matthew? Are the other cults with multiple leaders? Oh, yes. The ones that used to be Moonies that now changed their name. What are they?
Unification Church.
They have multiple leaders.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're definitely a cult.
So interesting how that's bust things wide open in Japan, eh?
Yes.
Well, they consider the Amish cult too, because.
But do they really have a leader?
I don't know. What Scientology is a cult? Aren't there several people on that one too?
Is it, or is it not Miscavige?
Oh, Scientology.
Miscavige.
Yeah, David Miscavige.
David Miscavige has got tight reins on that thing.
Yes, he does.
Just one guy, huh?
Yeah. He's just like the founder. He had tight reins on it.
And a charming personality. Oh, incredible!
He not.
Oh my goodness. How to get you.
He is so charismatic, and he has just this. He is the epitome of cult leader. And I mean, he has to be good. Look at the people he's fooled.
Yeah. Hello, No Spring Chicken.
I've got a quote for you, Andy.
Do what?
I've got a quote for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready for this one? Page 8. So whoever's got this book, page 8, under the heading Ambassadors Bold but Tactful. So if you're a JW, can you say that you're an ambassador? Not a trick question. I'm just putting that out there.
Right.
Can you say you're an ambassador?
Of course, they're told that.
Only if you're anointed.
Oh.
Only if you are considered a legitimate anointed and you've passed their testing.
Okay.
So persons say, oh, no, there's no such thing as testing. Yes, there is a higher tiers. Oh, yes, that exists. And it's done in a personal qualifications report. So that's how it's done. So now here it says on page 6, we are ambassadors for Christ. Now, why is that important? Because an ambassador has what is called diplomatic immunity. So that's why they can do anything. So assets of any country, any assets on this planet belongs to the ambassadors.
Oh,
So they own the court. They own the court system. They own everything. And if you have diplomatic immunity, you can do whatever you want because you're above the law. They'll quote Paul saying there is no law, but it only applies to the anointed ambassadors.
That's actually really interesting.
Why they can, that's why they can do anything you want, as long as you make an application for permanent appeal to the high priest. So you say, I make permanent appeal under oath, permanent appeal to the high priest without retraction. Put it in writing.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's how they do it. That's how they do it with a.
So if they come and they say, oh no, but Anthony, we caught you drinking. You say, I make permanent appeal. I repent.
Yeah.
Sorry, I make repent. Basis of Christ's blood.
Wow.
So instead of making it all public, we're just going to buy you a house and move you to North Carolina.
Well, did you notice what's behind that house? Have you actually taken a look at it?
I have not.
I thought we
there's another house. There's another.
Do what?
Sorry, I get caught out with the delay, but sorry, Anthony.
Okay.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah, it was. We looked at it at the house when he first moved in there. And it's in a nice community, gated community. But I didn't pay attention to the background, just the little community houses. That was it. Yeah.
So you can do with Google Maps, you can do a nice 3D tour into the town and see all the eateries and all the beer places and alcohol places and pizza places. And of course, where he's living, there's that there's like a medical assistance that is right close by. I mean, it's phenomenal layout, really great. But right behind is also another property that's bought by Watchtower. So his is in front. And yes, it's a semi-detached, semi-detached. But then right behind is also a Watchtower house as well. What's that for? Is it to keep an eye on it? Is that for what? Stay in line or assistance or whatever? I just find it very interesting that they purchased the house right behind as well.
Yeah, that is interesting. And you noticed we were looking at some of that when we saw where Sanders and some of those guys, or not Sanders, Jeffrey Jackson lived, and a couple other guys, and saw that it was not on Bethel property. It's off, but the houses are very close together. It's kind of like, that's interesting. And then you'll see somebody like Let's house way away from everybody,
A Grow was asking what's the latest lawsuits.
The latest lawsuits. Well, I don't know there's so many CSA cases. It's kind of hard to. Yeah. I mean, wow, it's mind-boggling. It's Philadelphia's coming up, New York. Some of them they settled out of court, but they still have some going on. Washington State has some. Texas has got one or two, and then they got this huge case in Texas right now that's awful.
The one about the dad.
Oh no! Where was that one at? That's the awfulest thing I ever heard. The
dad
sick.
Messed with his daughter
and her friends and
got her pregnant. His daughter. Yeah.
So Maverick's helping us out by reminding us about avoid JW. So If I can venture, one important one right now is Sweden.
Yes.
Why? Because that's another subsidy issue, right? So as these things add up, what's the procedure? The procedure is that you fight it in court as legitimately as possible. And if it ever comes to a situation of where you're saying, okay, well, we're losing ground and it's going to touch onto assets, then it becomes a decision of saying, well, how do we smooth the way with those assets? Because if you take a look at the publications, as soon as you've got anointed that are in control of the assets or the master's belongings, they can do anything they want. They can say that, like Jehovah, God puts in a deceptive spirit to fool Ahab. That's what's legitimate in their case. They can fool whoever's there, and because that's a rival sovereignty, and they're allowed to do that. And if they have to smooth the way with money, they'll do that.
And that's
so it's a step by step.
Okay.
That is so true. And Avoid JW is a great one. JW, what is it? JW Facts. Also, Watchtower is really good. And there's one more site I can never remember the name of, and it really is good too. It lists out a lot of current things.
Website or a YouTube
It's a
channel?
website. It's really good, and I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it has a lot of information about all sides.
Oh, so someone was asking earlier, does Tony Morris get a monthly salary paid by the Watchtower?
He probably did. I don't know about now. What do you think, Matthew?
Don't know. I don't know.
Morris.
Probably want to take care of him.
So
Hello, Born JW. Meant to say.
Yeah,
so
what-
if he's in a Watchtower house, who's paying for that? So that already that's giving you an indicator of what's going on. You'll notice that his car hasn't changed. If you look on Google Maps, it's the same number plate, or it's the same vehicle rather.
Right.
So the fact that it isn't owned by him, what does that tell you? You can't just walk into a society property without some kind of contractual agreement. So that's there, and you can be sure that he's still under a non-disclosure agreement. Absolutely. If you're a consultant for writing department or research, they ask you, they say to you, can we record you live in this consultation? If, in other words, if there's a Watchtower that's going to come out in print and they're getting you to proofread or go through it, they say, can we actually record you? You get assigned a code, okay? And you say, yes, I consent to you recording, because they do a form of auditing. So when you're doing that, they do like a verification. They'll say to you, can you take a look at 607, or can you take a look at this policy? And you say, well, am I under a protection? In other words, can I give the antithesis freely? Because if not, then you're eliminated from the system. It's as simple as that. So they're wanting to see what kind of integrity you have, and you've got to say, well, if I'm protected by the non-disclosure agreement, and as a consultant, I will give you the antithesis. And where I learned about thesis, antithesis for synthesis was writing department in my consultancy capacity. And they were actually encouraging it, but they were only encouraging it within that controlled way, and you weren't to talk about it. That was the deal. You don't go ahead and talk about it. They say, oh, we want this to be seen as coming from Jehovah. That's the sort thought-stopping technique or whatever. That's how it works.
Okay, interesting. See, you learn something every day. That's the things with the Watchtower that gets me with them is how that they have gotten away so many years with so much, and nobody has questioned it until now, and has thought that they were just some religious group and that people were overreacting. How could anybody think this? That's the crazy part.
Oh, so this man here, FH, says, how is the
And I had
DV with a JW wife with my 3 kids to restrict her taking my kids to that organization?
Had the DV. What's that?
Who is the DV? How is the DV? I'm not sure what that word means.
Sorry, where's DV?
No, it's this man asking a question. How is the
Or
DV with a JW wife with my 3 kids to restrict her?
Oh, this is the man
Taking
that
my
has
kids
the
to-
wife who
yeah.
is a
As a-
member and he's
yeah.
not.
Okay, so nobody can restrict your kids from.
Oh, divorce, I guess is how is the divorce with
divorce.
the JW? Yeah.
Divorce. Okay. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
A divorce would not. Do
Well,
that.
that book that Matthew just showed you,
Mhm.
and I think that's the one, Matthew, is that it, where they show how to, yes. And they also show how to end up with custody of the children.
Yeah, that one's a separate document. Are you talking about the one that was recently done by? Oh, name's gone out of my head. Sorry, I apologize to them profusely. But there's a channel that's making aware that there's an additional document about the custody for children that people don't know about. That's a separate document.
Oh, okay, it's separate. So there is a booklet that talks about how to get custody of your children, and they give that to lawyers. I do know they give that one to lawyers
just
and
need
the
to
person
have-
that's fighting it.
Jason Zelda, thank you. Happy Thoughts. Yeah, that's right. Jason Zelda does a lot of good work with
Yes,
awareness.
Okay.
Anthony and Casey, there was another thought that I had that others can consider. Of course, this isn't legal advice, but remember that if an elder is renegade or if they have done something that's broken the law, there is a liability. You can charge them as individuals. Remember, civil cases are different.
Right.
And so, so what sometimes happens is persons go after Watchtower and that thing fails. Remember, you can do it as target your individual. If you've got a coordinator of a body of elders that's corrupt, or he's advised you to break the law, or he's used coercive tactics and he's been caught and you have evidence, you can take him out, because the reason why that's effective is you're now disarming from Watchtower's legal body. He's on his own, and their tendency is to say that we cut off liabilities. They'll cut him off. And now he's on his own. He thinks that he's standing with Watchtower. He's in for a rude awakening. And the more that happens, it sends a message that's wild. If you target a circuit overseer, boom, it's going to send a huge message. Or if you target a branch committee member, legitimately, I'm not talking about contrive something. I'm talking about if you've got a real bad apple and you've got evidence, you target them as an individual, it'll send a shockwave right through.
That's actually true, because I've saw some cases we were looking at true crime stuff, and where some of those people have been have done some awful things, and you'll see how quick they're left out on their own and in the cold.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, because it sends a shockwave through them. They're afraid they're going to get liable for something. You know.
I had an instructor. I've got to be very, very careful with releasing my information. I've got all of this evidence, right?
Right.
But you've got to. Oh, here's another thing I've learned that might be useful for persons. When you've got evidence and you've got names, that's tying into things. All right. You can talk about it on YouTube, but you don't disclose the name. You don't disclose anything that's traceable.
Right.
Very, very important. But you can redact it, and you can put the letter out there, or you can put evidence out there if you feel it's not going to give them the advantage, because you've also got to be very, very careful. Sometimes you keep some of the cards back so that you hit them with those cards that they don't realize. They think that they're preparing for a case like this, and you hit them over here with something else different. So you're now strategizing like this. Very, very important to do it that way. And the other thing you can do is if now you are using Matthew 18:15-35, you're using that often misapplied scripture of the 2-witness rule, of 3 witnesses, and all of this story.
Yep.
And you're saying, look, I'm working within this Bible, which is your textbook of our code of ethics, New World Translation 2013 Revised Edition. That's our code of ethics. That's our, workman's manual. Okay. All right. That's our contract. That's your contract. We contracted with this manual. All right. You apply that Matthew 18 and you prove it. Okay. Then you redact that information, or you can now put publicly at the city gates or publicly on YouTube or Rumble or whatever. You can now set out this person that's in the branch, or this person who's a fiduciary unnamed gave this instruction, and I present it without judgment. And you do that publicly, then that's all right. But you got to weigh these things up, because if it ever comes back and says, oh no, what have you done? You've breached confidentiality. You say, no, what I've done is I applied Matthew 18, which the organization instructed me to do. I'm quite within those rights if I followed all the other means of approaching people, not by hearsay, not by word of mouth, but by printed form, by printed correspondence.
Yeah.
So if you have a recording, verbal recording, and you're going, oh, I'm scared about sending out the verbal recording, you can transcribe it and redact the names, and you can still present it that way, because then they can see, oh yeah, we have been caught by this, and there's the evidence, and now it's out there. Because I think you've got a lot of persons who are stuck when they've now got a body of elders and they've recorded them, and the body of elders has admitted to a crime, and they're going, I've got the evidence, what can I do? I'm stuck. I can't get this out there.
We had dinner with the gentleman, and I don't want to get too much into it, but he had evidence of CSA within the Kingdom Hall in quite a few cases, and we saw the evidence. And he's in a situation to where he don't know how to go about it without causing a lot of problems, for himself. And you're right. You have to use strategy in using it, but he's got himself in a pickle with that. But he was what they call the guy he's over the elders kind of thing. Presiding overseer.
Coordinator. Yeah. They keep changing the name.
Yeah. He was the coordinator, presiding overseer. Yeah. And
Alice has to go. She says she's got to go to sleep. Happy Thoughts is going to bring her up to speed. Thank you, Matthew. She's learned so much from you.
Yeah,
and
Matthew.
Many thanks to everyone else. So thank you, Alice, and I hope you sleep well.
But there's other ways to go about it with that information. So that's what is going on right now.
Okay. Anthony, you're 100% correct. And so that leads us into the next thing, which is to do with your theme. You can get, so through the police system, through the court system, you can get an evidence verification body that works within a legal. Yeah, so I don't know if that's clear for your audience. So you bring them, they are under an oath, they have oaths, they're under contracts, they're used by police, so it's an established authority, and you go through them, they take a look, oh, send us your recording, send us your email, send us your correspondence, we verify that, we'll redact it, and you can publicize that, or you can go to a publicist and you can send that through. So also ombudsmen, you know about ombudsmen who check on police. So if police are scared and they've been threatened by Watchtower, or they've been, given a handout or something like that, and you suspect that, then of course you have got your correspondence or your discussions with police. You go to an ombudsman and they check on that. But you might have to go to a higher commissioner first in the police system. You go to higher police.
Yeah, but it's the same. Yeah, British and Americans have almost the same laws, the same systems.
And what about, you're in South Africa, right?
Yeah. British.
Similar rules, I guess.
Yeah, that's how it is. Look, South Africa, on my channel, I say I have been quoted that South Africa has perfect law. I mean, It's got incredible law. But the thing is, it's not always implemented because of your cartels and your corruption. It's the Wild West.
always the case.
essentially. I mean, it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's the same. Well, it's more prevalent in some places, but it's the same everywhere to some extent.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, the man FH who's struggling, just I would say definitely talk to a lawyer and see what you can do and explain your situation.
And explain the situation that they will try to do everything they can to fight
They will.
for those children because they want to keep them indoctrinated.
Yes, that's their number one priority.
But with the rate of children that leave, the rate of the youth that's leaving,
that's another thing.
Odds are they're going to be out.
I wouldn't be too concerned about them remaining brainwashed because the age of the internet has exposed the Jehovah's Witnesses teachings, and they're not good. So a lot of people will see that, and
especially the youth. Just go into Kingdom Hall and look. And I tell people this all the time. If you want to see how terrible they're really doing, walk into Kingdom Hall. You don't have to stay. Just walk in, sit down, wait till they sit down and start talking, and look at how many people are in there and how many youth get up and leave. That's your answer. Nobody's there.
And Sue sent you a post, Matthew. Rudy's rule is the perfect law. That's what
who said that?
Sue says. Yeah. Maybe she's in.
Well, it's originally based on the Roman law, so that's kind of.
Yes. So you've got ecclesiastical law, maritime law, all of these things that apply. You've got to know when those things are being done. By the way, I want to say that Casey, Anthony, when you guys got up and you did those reenactment of at the field service, that was this week, right?
No.
Those things are very helpful.
Oh, thank you.
Those are great.
That was all her idea.
We'll do another one then. Oh, and we have a new member, Paul. Thank you so much for becoming a member, channel member.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Okay. I'll just go down here.
Everybody welcome Paul.
And thank you. Oh.
As in Paul the Apostle?
Yeah.
Not pseudo Paul.
Yes.
Somebody's got to get a YouTube channel, pseudo Paul. I mean, come on.
Oh, we could change our name.
No, I don't want to do that. That's
Pseudo Paul.
I love it.
The YouTube channel. When I was
that was a good Sheldon laugh. I like that.
We were watching Big Bang Theory, and Sheldon laughs like that. Anyways, he was just making fun of me because I sounded like that. But anyways, I was laughing because now I forgot.
I'm so sorry. I did that a while ago when Matthew was talking, and we were sitting here talking, and I said something totally off of the wall because my thoughts, that was something in my mind, but my thoughts were totally focused on something else, and it just went, woof.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Kind of flighty.
Yeah. Someone had wrote in the comments before on another of one of my videos, why do you introduce yourself as the channel? Are you talking about the governing body? And I'm like, talking about the YouTube channel.
Listen, I got an apology for you guys.
Yeah.
And my apology is, I think Anthony was asking me about the latest SLF book for elders. I did get it, and it's just buried in so much material. But the other thing that's happened is I actually have a problem with opening up this material now. I really do, because I feel that it just takes up my mental bandwidth. And for what? Because they just go the opposite direction anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not valuable. It is valuable. It is valuable. But personally, I genuinely feel traumatized opening that information up, because I just go, if I'm there learning all of that stuff, they're not bothering with it. They just do whatever they want. They're fluid.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes some kind of sense, but I'm not in good shape. So I still feel bad when you said, Matt, have you got this thing? I've got it, but I think I've got a mental block against it.
Here's the thing, man. It's when you get to the place to where you're good with it, that's all that matters because, you spent a long time there, your whole life you have family members in, you went pretty high. And, leaving is traumatic. That's a very traumatic experience. I went through it with her, third generation, lots of family in. And when she left, it was a very dramatic experience for her.
Well, and you get past it.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But there's still things that trigger you and you get angry.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Angry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a selfish reason. One of the main reasons for coming into the group is feeling free.
Yeah.
And going, let's have a good time. That's kind of just going, there's this interaction, have a good time. I'm not being so cerebral. I've been burning my brain for years.
Yep.
And believe it or not, it's only recently that I've been able to talk. I really struggled to get words out. I lost my sight, I lost my hearing, and I had some. Yeah, it was really hectic. So that was the extent of the trauma. There were some underlying things that happened as well, health-wise. But I reckon a lot of it was just the trauma. It was the accumulating trauma. I couldn't talk. I wasn't free. I was just going, I'm going to get caught. Any word that comes out of my mouth is just weaponized. That was the extent.
Yeah.
That's how you feel.
Yeah. And I went to doctors. And the branch put their doctors against my doctors. They had to collide against the board of medical board, and I'm caught in between, and I'm the patient.
That's crazy. And I remember you said that you had a YouTube channel. You were putting things on there for your nephew, basically, right?
Yeah, because he's going to grow up and he's going to go, what's my uncle all about? He's a lunatic, and I'm going, I used AI just to put some kind of messaging in a metaphorical way. And I thought, yeah, because I'm thinking I'm on my way out. I really thought I'm gone.
Wow, so you've been through a lot.
Yeah, well, my pioneer partner died. I mean, that wasn't a joke. And the doctor at the branch also died. In fact, anybody with some liability, we can't say on the air foul play, but there's always this pattern. When somebody gets a liability, it looks like elimination. That's what it looks like, Anthony. I mean, and yeah, it looks like.
Yeah,
I hope they pay for that.
I know. I mean, that's the thing, like the negative feelings that you feel within yourself. Pretty strong.
Jane, I never got married, and I'll tell you why, and I don't mind saying this. Every time there was somebody with some kind of romantic interest, it was like emotional blackmail, or they would be put at risk. You'd have somebody who's got genuine love. Now, if you're going to have genuine love in return, you don't put that person at risk, especially when these kind of patterns are happening. So I don't know if that answers you, Jane. I would explain to people, I'd say, I'm not going down this route. I appreciate, I'm flattered, this is great. But Jane, this was hectic. I mean, I was assigned to places where there were fields on fire. That was the political hotbed that they would insert me into, and they would tell me it's a suicide mission. That's what it was. So sorry, Jane, but that's the truth.
Oh my.
And Lioness just said, y'all are awesome. Good to see you. Good people are still trying to expose the JW cult. Thank you for that, Lioness.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Matthew is really, I like having him on here. He really is good for the channel. Because you're able to tell your story, and it's inspiring. Just so you know, Matthew, I think it's very inspiring.
Well, I really appreciate that, because I get caught with mixed emotions. I go, I want to be with you guys. I enjoy the friendship. I enjoy the interaction, but I also don't want to make too much noise. And I go, I don't know. I'll just come on. You tell me, Matt, we're going to change things. I'll go, I rely upon you to direct things, to direct the show, you know?
Got you. That's our job. But
Jane wants you to go back to Europe.
Go back to Europe.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh, because he's in Africa.
Jane, thanks very much. I appreciate your support.
That's right.
And happy I appreciate you. In fact, everybody. There's everybody. I value you very much. Thank you.
How could Grow wants to know, how could the branch put their doctors against your doctors?
Good question. So, Grow, remember what happened with recent world events to do with medicines. Remember what happened there. So this was boiling with H1N1. All right. This was boiling a long time ago. Not 2019. This was boiling a long time ago, and the branch mobilized, or there were persons in the branch, good people, good doctors, who were very, very concerned about Ebola, and they were very concerned about H1N1, and there was a pathology that was being run by the South Africa branch that looked after the whole of Africa. All right, so this is a very complicated story. Gee, Anthony Casey, is that it?
He had to get up.
Okay, I surrender.
I gotta go get something to drink.
Yeah, he'll be right back.
Okay, so Grow, I'm not going to avoid your question, because I know your questions are very, very important and they're intuitive questions. So yeah, Stan, you scared them off, Matthew. Yeah, I'm scared. Let me tell you. So so with H1N1, already WHO was coming into the various branches and putting down protocols that were incredibly powerful, very, very powerful. They were basically running the show and calling the shots. But there's all sorts of things that were happening at the branch. If you take a look on Google Maps and you look at the branch, you can see there's a river that flows all the way to the Crocodile River, talking about South Africa branch, and that thing empties out at the sea. So if there's poisons or there's toxins or toxic material or uranium that's going into that river, eventually it contaminates the entire sector. It goes into the ocean, and the ocean currents from Durban come down to Cape Town. So all of that water, if you test it, you can see that there's contaminants that are coming through that water system. So if you think about the branch, do they bury ink in the ground, for instance? Do they bury poisons in the ground? So Grow, I want you to think about your history and think about what happens in the United States of America. Have they been caught putting things into the ground? Have they put toxic materials from? So you got sick during that time? Yeah, I got sick. I was infected with a pathogen. All right. In my service, the branch was also breeding various pathogens for their digestive system. So that's little bacteria and little pathogens and things like that that was designed to break down food waste for composting, because you're dealing with a lot of food waste. So that was a way that various volunteers were getting contaminated, was through that bacteria and things like this, and through various assignments. So it wasn't safe. So as soon as you have things like that, poisoning or where the bacteria has got out of hand, it creates liabilities. If you're dealing with poisons, for instance, the Awake magazine's telling you something like glyphosate makes your lungs brittle. But the branch committee has told its volunteers to purchase glyphosate and work with it. And if they don't, then they're going to come under disciplinary action, or they're going to lose their livelihood. Then it's coercive. Then I know that they said to me, if you don't purchase it and you don't use it, we're going to get another a young pioneer who doesn't know any better. And when their lungs go brittle, they're going to wear it with pride, because they've sacrificed themselves for Jehovah. We have got loads of people who will take your place. So don't worry about it, and they'll do it in ignorance. So essentially, it's blackmail. It's an emotional blackmail that they're pulling on people to get them to do whatever work that they're doing. And woe betide you if you get 3 or 4 elders together who've seen the same article in the Awake magazine that's warning about poison, let me just focus on poison. And they approach the branch committee. They just say to the 4 elders, we'll have you all removed immediately. Get out. You think you can come here and pull that one on us? The Awake magazine is not a spiritual magazine. That's worldly information that we print for people. And by the way, as of right now, it's an old thought. Right now, we're telling you this is an old thought because we've got writing desk here and we pull the string. So don't try and pull that one on us. That's exactly what happens. And people don't believe this until they actually live the experience. Or if you actually take a tape recorder and you record it and you have a safe way of putting that to authorities and saying, listen, I need protection. I will give you the evidence of what actually happened behind closed doors. Because you have got congregants who don't believe this even happens. They don't believe it. They go, no, you've got a grudge against the organization. They don't believe it. So you have to have that evidence in hand. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. And you have to have a verification board that's appointed by police or that's appointed by enforcement agencies or law that will verify it safely and say, look, we will keep it in an enclosed space so that we can validate that evidence. So, Grow, I don't know if that helps without me taking over Casey's and Anthony's show.
No,
you're fine. I'm actually listening because
it's fine. There's a lot to talk about.
It's giving me something to think about here as you were talking. I was like, okay, it's making some sense. I love it when people come on and they talk and I learn a few things.
Did you get better though after getting sick? Did you get full recover?
I'm still recovering, Casey. Thanks for asking. Whoever's asked, I'm still recovering. It's only recently now in my channel I'm starting to talk longer. But this thing hit me very, very hard because my oxygen went down and I got hypoxia. So, look, I was dying. I was gone. I was thinking I actually had a sense of relief. I thought I'm gone. Bye. Done my work.
And that
done my life.
H1N1, is that what you got?
No, I had Bartonella. I got COVID because it was weaponized against me. They knew that I wasn't taking, excuse me, I'm going to just put it right out there. And I respect anybody's decision, but I chose not to get vaccinated. I chose not to because it was a conscience matter. And I had already received warning by a very faithful doctor who was killed in a car accident outside Bethel. They sent me information legally and lawfully prior to their death, and it was labeled an accident. And it was enough when they had sent me a communication. It was enough for me to see that, no, this was a warning. They gave me a warning before they died. And I realized that this thing was a very sophisticated sequence of events. I'd already seen what they were doing, experimenting with people in the high density areas where I was serving. I had Bill Gates down here. I had Prince William down here, and I'm going, they're just walking around in this territory. What the hell is going on? And they're setting up facilities, the most state-of-the-art facilities in the most impoverished areas. And I'm saying, where is this money coming from? The money is coming from the people that they are experimenting on, or that they're offering free medical to, or it's a complex thing. But I might not be definitive in what's going on. All I can say is that these facilities are popping up in these impoverished areas, what's going on. And they're tracking persons who speak Shona language, Chichewa, targeting them with this AIDS test, tuberculosis tests, all these various free tests. But it's not just, somebody walks in there wanting medical attention. What they were doing was they were going to people in the area and saying, where are Chichewa speaking people? Where are Shona speaking people? We are accumulating data on these people, and we want them in the various clinics that we have set up to do all of these procedures. And I'm going, This does not sound good, folks. This is not a good thing that you're rallying together these people. And I think Grow does know this because I have spoken with Grow about this. I knew about this when the Congolese were stuck on the beach and United Nations was endeavoring to pacify them. And the branch contacted me and said, you are going to put these people on the bus and we're sending them all the way back to Congo. This is when I got wind of it. And then the next instruction I got from the branch was make sure that when you have done a head count of all of these people, you do not keep them in a centralized location, you scatter them. And we did, we scattered them. And I believe a lot of persons were able to flee, and they now, I hear there's some correspondence from some of them that have settled in New York as refugees, and I hear that they are safe. But this is going back some years, Anthony and Casey. The thing about medical is hectic, and I believe, in my opinion, right or wrong, and persons can say it's wrong, but in my opinion, my deduction was people were being experimented on.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah,
this created an embarrassment.
Scary.
I went to the branch coordinator. I walked into the branch coordinator, and this is why you go, Matt. You're thick. What's wrong with your brain, Matt? I'm still thinking that Satan has inserted his Judas characters within the organization. So I go straight to the coordinator and I say to him, "Listen, we've got these problems with medical. I'm bringing it to your attention because I am a safety officer. I'm certified for first aid, just low level." I said, and because I am a safety officer, I am required to put in reports, even near misses and things like this. I have to give you this information. And he says to me, "No, we don't have these problems that you're reporting to me. We don't have these problems." He said, "Here's the photographs. Here's the evidence. There's the evidence." He says, "You don't get it. We don't have these problems." And it hasn't dawned on me that what he's telling me is he doesn't want to hear it. Doesn't want to hear it. And I didn't realize that under his desk, he's got an alarm. He's pressed an alarm.
Oh,
Yeah. Now I'm serving in the branch. He's pressed an alarm. And who meets me at the door? A doctor. He says to me, "Don't bother the old man. Please don't bother the old man." What's the issue? And I say to him, "Look, there's all of this liability. There's all of these problems." That he says, "Matt, I'm so glad you've brought it to our attention. Do you know we already know about it? We already know about it. Just leave the information with us. We're going to sort it out. In fact, we're already sorting it out. Let's assure you." And what does dumb old Matt think? Dumb old Matt thinks, "Oh, it's all fine. I don't realize that I've just been blown off."
yeah.
And so Grow says to me, or what is Grow saying? Saying, "Oh, what actually happened? Why were they pitted?" Because as time goes on, Armageddon's down the road, years go by, people come with brittle lungs, they come with various ailments because of some lousy policy that was put in place where persons were coerced into certain things, and you're getting an accumulation of liabilities that you are seeing is coming from bad decisions that's coming from branch committee. And the doctor gets wind of it and he gets afraid. And so you know what he decides to do? Decides to say, "Oh, I'm going to use my doctorate to say, Matt, you've lost your mind." You know why you've lost your mind? Because you're not aligned with us as leadership. So that means that you're mentally diseased. My doctor gets wind of this and says, "You're challenging my medical license. No, you can't do that. I'm going to take you to the medical board." And I'm going, I can't get involved in this. Right. So it was all about protecting against potential liabilities. He's activated, he's incentivized because he's living at the branch, and he's got all of this history that he's having to deal with, and using his license and his doctorate as clout for the township that's under a lloydial title to protect, obviously, company investments. That's what it's all about. And so, Grow, I don't know if that
And he
answers.
actually, I think he had to go. He had asked you that.
I think Grow is female, right?
I don't know.
I thought so. And I think that Maverick's friends with Grow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know who Grow is, but I don't want to reveal too much. I'm familiar with Grow a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, are they from there? I know they're from the UK, but are they originally from
I just know that Grow has got an incredible mind, and
right.
they in absolutely the right direction and are light years ahead. So
Did the Fauci get an exemption from liability in the pharmaceutical companies? I'm not sure.
Now, what did it say again?
Right there. Read it.
Okay. Did the Fauci? Oh, Fauci. Okay, I got it. Get an exemption from the liability in the pharmaceutical companies. So did Fauci get exemption? The guy that was the United States general, whatever they call it. I can't think of it. But anyway, the guy, the safety general for the United States. And the pharmaceutical companies pretty much owned them.
Yeah. And
Fauci was the one telling everybody to go get vaccinated.
okay, gross.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Because I remember Maverick one time saying that he knew who that was. He really knew them well.
Yeah, and
when they first come on here.
The Stan's good advice: stay calm and don't get uptight about what others do, or you will drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true, but you also have to be aware and look at your surroundings at all times, and especially in issues. I would say that would be a good idea, but yeah, not to get too wound up at the same time if that's possible.
Happy medium.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, Stan. I appreciate the community because look, it's a check. It's a checkpoint. It's going to take it down a few notches. Just relax, chill out. What's your next joke, Anthony? You know, tell us something funny, please. You know, I think the motive of the channel, is of course diffusing the trauma, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I obviously carry a lot of damn trauma.
Watchtower created trauma.
American Rosalie.
I'm pretty sure. Helen says she's pretty sure governing body got money from the government for encouraging jobs in 2021.
Okay, yeah. So Helen, you would have to look on the hub system. So it used to be called Admin 2000. So Admin 2000 would show you where assets are, asset management, who's purchasing what, who approved what requisitions, right? So remember when persons leave wills, they leave property, they leave trust funds, there's all sorts of complicated things. So if now there's stocks in, let's say, Johnson & Johnson or in one of these big pharmaceuticals, there's an incentive that's coming through, let's say, purchasing or the asset management side that's saying, hey, hang on, we've communicated to lawyers. The lawyers are like an unseen governing body member. They kind of sit on the same level. They can direct governing body and say, no, you're touching the assets. You as ambassadors, you're in charge of the master's assets and it's harming the assets, which is unrighteous riches. And we can override you. The lawyers can override governing body. Now, you're not seeing that happening behind the scenes, but they have that kind of power. And especially if you've got shareholders and this unseen element that people talk about saying, oh, hang on, there's another element that's pulling the strings here. But it's coming from very complex business relationships. So to be able to talk about the complexity of those business relationships, is you can't do it on a channel. You can't do it in 15 minutes. You can't even do it in 3 hours. It's a workshop to be able to go through that. But the Admin 2000 system was pretty transparent. It had security systems, but you could see who was purchasing. You could see assets. You could see all kinds of things because When I left the branch, they actually called me back in and they said, can you recreate the data? Can you recreate the data? Because we've now moved over to the hub system, which is the new improved secure system. Right. So when you're looking into admin 2000, it just becomes absolutely obvious what's occurring in all of these kind of transactions. And you can see that what has occurred over 140 years is a complex weave of different contracts on different levels with different instrumentalities that go beyond Watchtower. There's like about, I don't know, 1,000. It wouldn't surprise me if there's about 1,000 different instrumentalities that are all connected to the same hub.
At least 1,000. That is true, actually.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just guessing. I don't know. I don't know what, but I'm.
It could be a lot.
But that's like Watchtower with all of their corporations and their shell corporations. There's over 1,000 of them. And talking about pharmaceutical companies, they own huge stock in a lot of pharmaceutical companies. Just in case people didn't know that. You can look it up.
So I got given this by the branch. Okay, right. So it's a phone. But when I got given it, it was full of the latest stocks, all kinds of things that were trending. I'm looking at this and I'm going, there's very little spiritual about it.
Right.
I mean, I made a backup immediately, but you can see that it's all about stocks, it's all about bonds, it's about all kinds of transactions. And when I look into the history, I can see representatives that were coming through the Gilead channel who were given certification for being Watchtower representatives of Pennsylvania and New York. Guess what they do? They go around to the congregations and they see who's your top wealth, who's got the top wealth. They look at them and they say, listen, we can incentivize you to invest in, let's say, Twin Towers. I remember that happening before Twin Towers exploded. They were targeting guys and saying, right, invest here. This is what the organization does. It's a safe bet. It's all this kind of stuff. And Jehovah rewards his own, and they're putting it into theocratic terminology and saying, if we look after you like this, you'll be able to look after the congregation. So invest half your wealth there and trust in it. This is how they're talking until, of course, the towers explodes, and then it became a negative investment. But it showed me a long time ago that that's exactly what this thing is all about. And especially when you look at 1879 and you see that a shareholder would get the third Watchtower, which wasn't a spiritual publication per se, it was an investment publication. It would tell you where to invest. That's what it was all about. The person say, oh, 2 Watchtowers a month. They didn't know about the third one. The third one was specifically for investments. And Russell puts it. He puts it on the front cover of that publication. He tells you, and he even tells you that the master is Beelzebub. He tells you. He says, oh, if they're saying that the master is Beelzebub, he says it's the same for the slave. The slave is Beelzebub as well. And you're going, who would quote that? The only guys that quote that are guys who are insiders who know things like Thelema and Theosophy and dark and occult. And occult doesn't always mean dark. It's however you use it. But that was occult knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that era with Rutherford and Russell, there was a lot of occult things going on in the society itself. You know, and they adopted.
So if I drop a name to support you, John D, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember last year, because there's various folks saying, oh, Matt, did you take a look at what happened in this year's AGM or annual meeting? I said, no, I wasn't invited. I was invited to the last one, and I saw this ritual. I saw this earth, fire, wind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they held up the golden mirror. They're holding it up to the audience, and they're all applauding in this hypnotic state.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Last year?
Yeah. Old is it Loesch? Loesch holds up the golden mirror, and I'm going, Guys, how did you miss? Yeah, how did you miss that there's just been a ritual in the AGM? How did you miss it? Oh, what were you talking about? I said they projected all the occult symbols on the walls, folks, and you think that they're giving you a warning. No, because they're saying, oh no, they're just teaching us that that's Christendom. Did they say that? They didn't say it. They put it up on the wall.
Yeah, I like what Lionel says about
I never thought of that, Matthew, until just now. That is actually true. I saw that, and it's people can go see that for themselves. It's there.
I watched the annual meeting this year because I did a rebuttal on it. I didn't do it last year.
Just so you know. That's
okay.
Wow.
Well, a Watchtower terminology is like a maze with multi-levels with no exit. Best to sum up as a comic strip. It's true. I like that. Everybody's over here talking about Thanksgiving dinner, I see. Because in the U.S., we celebrate Thanksgiving at the end of November, the 27th this year. And the common food is, sweet potato casserole, pumpkin pie, green bean casserole, turkey and dressing, and cranberry dressing. I think that's like the common thing, and like gravy and mashed potatoes and all that. So you don't have that kind of thing over there, do you, in Matthew?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But
so everybody's talking. Oh, and the funny thing is, Thanksgiving is an American holiday, but you're not supposed to celebrate it as a Jehovah's Witness, even though it's not. It's more like a political holiday. Really, it's not. It's really more like Abraham Lincoln decided that Americans were going to have this date to set aside to thank God, and that was it. It was no religion behind it, not really even political. It was just government holiday, I guess you could say. And then because of we don't need to be told when to celebrate a holiday. We thank God every day. We don't need to be told. It's very defiant, so they just don't celebrate it. But the funny thing is, in the end, a lot of people end up getting together and eating the same Thanksgiving food that most people eat on that day. They end up getting together anyways, which is funny because I've done that myself as a witness, got together with other witnesses, but you can't call it that. Silly. They have to do everything opposite of whatever everyone else is doing.
I was going to, let's see, let me find this real quick. I don't know if anybody's ever heard the Unalive tapes from Jim Jones, but if anybody's not aware of MK Ultra, he's telling one of the members that day, just hours before or moments before it all ended, to get the head of the CIA out of there. And it's on those tapes.
Oh, and he came back. Yeah.
He says, get them. Did you know that, Matthew?
What was that again? Sorry, I was consumed with the chat there.
Okay.
What was that, Anthony?
That's another one.
Yeah. Jim Jones on his Unalive, I have to say Unalive, but you know what I mean. He's telling someone that day, just moments before it all ended, to get the head of the CIA out of there.
That's right. That's right.
It is on the tapes. You can hear it. It's very clear.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see how involved this whole thing is. Look, can I give you personal experience about this in Zimbabwe? I mean, when I was moving around, there were two elements I had to be very, very careful about. I had intelligence operatives following me around. So I was sleeping in different beds every night. I had to sleep in different locations, and congregants were telling me, Matt, how did you know that you had to be in a different place? And I said, no, it's just my intuition or my instinct. And they said, yeah, you got guys following you. You're going and you're creating Bible studies here. Guys are actually following and undoing your work. So I knew about intelligence operatives doing that and seeing that that's pretty much interwoven, because an incredible way to gather information is you send out persons from house to house just with S8s gathering information. you're going to come back with incredible stuff. Really, yeah, that's a way to gather information for government. Very, very clever. And the other thing I had to watch out for was army, because I would go into tribal trust land areas under assignment where you could pick diamonds off the ground or gold off the ground, rich mineral wealth, tremendously rich mineral wealth in tribal trust lands. And there was a day I came back, and of course I'm sending my report to the branch, and I released some information innocently, and the army came in and decimated the area. Absolutely decimated. And I realized, gee, we're not messing around here. This is hectic.
True. Lioness said that the elders sidestepped me when she was in. It was very easy and fun to expose their blindness. My family tried to keep me from commenting at the meetings. Silly. Well, and it's they just, like you say, they their blindness is obvious, but they don't see it, of course. And everybody's still talking about Thanksgiving. Dallas likes to eat some sort of rice pilaf with caramelized carrots and raisins and meat. Okay. Interesting.
Well, he was eating hush puppies last week. Hey? Hush puppy is like what?
I love hush puppies. Those are the little. It's like cornbread, but it's like in the little balls. I don't know if they have that there. They're pretty good. Lioness says Franz is a superhero. I've actually watched some of his videos, and before he died, and it was really good. He did really well exposing the Watchtower, and he's been the only governing body member ever to do that.
Drewer. It was Richard Drewer, the deputy chief of missions, the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown, Guyana, CIA agent. Richard Drewer says,
"Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, not at all."
Yeah.
Anthony, when I went to a funeral at a place called Chipinge, which when you translate it means control.
Yep.
I walk in the evening because it was a sister who lost her husband, but the husband was an unbeliever. And the branch had sent erythropoietin because it was a blood disorder.
Yeah.
And for some reason they had supplied him with tremendous aid. And I was under the impression it was because of this faithful sister. So I'm sitting there at this funeral around a fire, very traditional, very African style, indigenous African style. And I'm sitting there and I don't realize I'm sitting with the Mugabes, who is the ruling family.
Oh, man.
So I'm sitting there, and because it's dark, they can't see that I'm European. So and the brothers, those people that were there, they didn't realize it was a conflict until one of the Mugabe family said, "Who are you?" And then the brothers and sisters, when I say brothers and sisters, JWs, they said, "Ooh, Matt, there's a secret here that you don't know about.
Oh.
And you need to shut the hell up, because there's a connection between the ruling family and Malawi. If it gets into the heads of the Zimbabwean people that the ruling family is not authentically from this country, they don't want that information sent out. And the person who died, they were good friends with them. That's the Malawian connection. Anyway, it's very, very complicated, but they were saying, oh, we don't want that information out. But we got to see ties with intelligence. We got to see ties with JW and government, and it's very, very interwoven. Mandela's first wife was a Jehovah's Witness. We also saw in a lot of those territories, like you were saying, Anthony, that was where a lot of Scientology information was formed in those areas. And that's, yeah.
Well, a lot of the cults were government put together by the government. You know, I don't know how many people know who Jim Parsons is, but Jim Parsons was also known as the Rocket Man, and the government hired him to create rockets and all. And he was a big follower of the Lima, and they even
Yes.
temples for him to worship in. And the government financed it, but did he truly believe? The answer would be no. But he worked for the government, and you know, Anton LaVey, the government backed him, and the guy that split off from LaVey, the government financed him. And this is all provable. Jim Jones
Yeah.
was financed by government, and if you research Jim Jones, you'll find that he was kicked out of Brazil back in the '60s, and
Okay.
because he was exposed as a CIA agent. Just Google it, you'll see.
Okay. So I knew about the okay. So Parsons, Rocket Man.
Yep.
This is what I knew. I knew that von Braun was a closeted psychic.
Yes.
It wasn't to be put out in the public because that's very, very taboo.
Right.
But you had Russell Targ, who was very instrumental in SRI, which was the remote viewing program known as Stargate or Grill Flame.
Right.
Which was designed as, I want to say, kind of counterintelligence or a counter think tank against Russia during the Cold War. Anyway, Russell Targ was selling to von Braun the idea of remote viewing and our intuitive abilities and telepathy to von Braun, saying, look, when astronauts go up into outer space, they need to be able to anticipate equipment failure, and if there is an extraterrestrial element, they need to be able to connect with the extraterrestrial side. If it's non-corporeal. And you hear it now. Russell, when he was on the TED Talks, they took him off YouTube. No, we're banning this. It's back on now. But there was somebody who was a laser physicist, as respected, well respected as he was, who was getting heavily censored on YouTube. And he reveals this. He says, look, this is all declassified now. Stargate is declassified. We can talk about it. And I think just
it's all documented stuff. I mean, all you got to do if somebody's interested is just Google it. I'll tell you something else that's actually provable. Very few people know. L. Ron Hubbard was financed by Jim Parsons. That's how Scientology started. Jim Parsons gave him a loan, and he took the money and started that. It's all interwoven.
That's right. Pat Price was a Scientologist. He was also on Stargate. You're quite right. Who's the other one that was on? But there were a number of those guys on the same SRI.
And here's something a lot of people don't know. Rutherford was obsessed with mind control. And it was coming, back then, China had pretty much started mind control. And it was called cohesive persuasion. And he was obsessed with it. And this is provable. You just Google it. Where does a lot of this come from? It's all within the same realm of people trading information. It's not a secret.
Can I ask you when you cottoned onto a lot of this information? Because when I hear you talking, Anthony, you're ahead of the curve. Now, when did this all? Was this to protect KC, or you knew a lot of this beforehand?
What happened is I started studying things. Years ago, I was curious about spirituality. So I studied a lot of religious stuff, not just Christianity, but everything. So I wanted to know. Because I was trying to find the truth. What is the truth? What is spirituality about? What is our soul? What is our, purpose here? Every culture, and growing up in a historical home, my father was a professor of history. So I knew a lot of historical stuff, and I grew up around a lot of religion. So I was like, what's true? Look at ancient Babylonian or ancient Egyptian or whatever the oldest religions are, Buddhist. it slips my mind at the moment, but the first people to preach one God, Zoroastrians. And so I started looking into all these things. And of course, the whole realm of occult and all that. And I realized, wait a minute, the modern versions of this are all controlled by the same people. Because you start looking at how it's intertwined. Well, this guy, and when you start reading all this literature of all these people, and you see they all know each other. And this is not just conspiracy, this is provable stuff. And I went, it's all started in the late 1800s. And it just exacerbated itself from there to the 1960s. And along with the mind control part of that as well. And the government took the mind control and called it MK Ultra and started experimenting with it. It just become a bigger, larger picture of something started in the 1890s.
Yeah, because there was that assassination attempt, or a couple of assassination attempts on Trump, right? And that just looked like same kind of mind control patterns coming from there. How do you activate these kind of Manchurian candidate type of personalities? You see the same patterns over and over and over again. And a lot of those guys are sleeper agents. They don't even know.
Did you know the movie with Frank Sinatra, and where he was brainwashed by the Koreans, was based on actual evidence? I had no clue, and I was like, "Oh, that was a great movie." And then you start reading it, and it was like,
"Yeah,
what the heck?" It just didn't succeed to the.
Isn't that interesting that they sew that into our pop culture? Isn't it? It's like they go, "Okay, we believe in karma, and we got to put it right in front of your face."
Yeah. And I know people think, "Oh, well, that's conspiracy, or that's this or that." I was like, "Man, this is provable stuff. It's none of that. It's like, just Google it. Thank God for the internet, But yeah, how long ago did I realize this? I started putting it together before I knew her, but once I knew her and I started studying and getting more into the occult and learning where it all stemmed from, I started realizing a lot of people were intertwined, even more than I originally thought. Man, we're getting all kinds of comments. Let's see. That's
brilliant stuff. I mean, the audience really aware. Really aware.
Yeah. Driver's license IDs where I live, the changing. Wow. Yeah, it is interesting. It's all provable. Jim Jones, when he said during those tapes, and it's the last, hour of their life, and he's talking. In the last 20 minutes, he tells people to get Drewer out of there. Dwar, I think he calls him Dwar. I think that's the way you actually pronounce it. And it's very, very clear, and that particular person happens to be head of the CIA for that area. And then you put together the fact that he was ran out of Brazil for being an agent. It's not rocket science. It was an MK Ultra experiment to see if they could successfully do that. And they're all intertwined with each other way back when. Because it was fun for me to know that Jim Jones knew who Anton LaVey was, and I was like, wait a minute, how did he know that guy? They're opposite. And I was like, well, it's one big family. I get it now. The government for both of them to do what they did.
Anthony, I see that there's all kinds of questions coming in. There's a few directed to me. Can I read it?
Absolutely.
It says, born at JW. Matthew, have you heard of a Johannesburg SA ghetto gang called Ugly Americans? I wonder if JWs did field service in neighborhoods like that. Yes, I definitely did field service in Johannesburg in those ghetto areas. It was incredibly hectic. You don't mess around there, but sometimes you can get like gangster approval. There's kind of like a piece, you respect them and they respect you and give you safe passage. Same down here, as long as you respectful, then they can respect you too, because it's all interwoven as well. But I did field service in the heart of Johannesburg in some real hectic areas. So, but as for Americans that come across such a gang, no. But yeah. I was right in the middle of it.
Well, you know something I think, Matthew, and this is something that I personally believe. When you start running down these rabbit holes, you find more and more branches of it, and it goes off. But I believe that they are mega wealthy that people rarely mention or talk about that is behind this because it's all for profit. And the things like, I even hate to mention his name, but the man who unalived himself in a jail in America when the cameras conveniently cut off. And
Okay,
yeah,
got it. With you.
The guards fell asleep conveniently. So there's
Kind of rhymes with Einstein, sure.
Yeah. when that happened, because I don't know how many people realize who he was and who Ghislaine Maxwell is. Her father was a very, very powerful man doing the exact same thing. Look him up. That'll shock you. Ghislaine Maxwell's father. He was very powerful. And they go to the Rockefellers are some of the people they're connected with, the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds was a big one they were connected with. There's a lot of people that pull the strings across the world. And well, not a lot. It's it's the majority of the money.
No, I get what you mean. Look, with
and
Ghislaine, her assistant had a JW tie, but I understand that that was in the past, and the parents were basically saying, no, our daughter went off the rails. You can't connect that to JW. So it sounds like that particular connection was sanitized. That's what it sounds like. And I go, yeah, okay, all right. So it was a vulnerability that was created by excommunication. Fine. That doesn't. That, in other words, she went and did something that was stupid. In other words, and you can't blame JW for that. But what you're talking about here, about pulling the strings, I absolutely do get that, and I think that happens with Mexico. I think that happens with City of London. I think that happens with Vatican City. I think that happens with Washington, D.C., that you have persons that are like, who is it, Lebanese, for instance, who say, listen, shall we play a game? Shall we? Would you like gold prices to rise or drop tomorrow? Because we can do it. That's the game that we play.
There you go. Big time. And, where did Epstein come from? He come out of the investment companies. He was this teacher that got really some weird inside information about investments, and then he went from there to what he was doing.
Yeah, and it's fluid and it's simple. It's like, man, this isn't hard to comprehend how this works. You can just pull a string like this, and you go, well, that just undermines the entire education system and why people are now studying stocks and bonds and how economics works. They haven't got a clue when it's at this level.
Exactly. And then they research and they experiment with cults. That's exactly what's going on. And they use them as an experimental grounds to see how much they can control people. And then the sad thing is people like us pay the price.
So Anthony, you reckon that JW is like an experimental pool, of psychology? Let's see what we can do with people.
$50 billion is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. That could be gone in a year. It would be gone if they really wanted to bankrupt that company. So 50 billion is not a lot. But for them to get that money and to play the game, and then, to an individual, that's a fortune. But it's in the grand scheme for an organization, it's not a lot, right? You realize.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
Go ahead.
I beg your pardon, Anthony. Sorry, I always get caught. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. But 50 billion would make people jump through hoops, like a poodle, in a circus, man, it make them jump through hoops. And that's what they're doing. And they're seeing how far they can use that organization to control people. I believe this wholeheartedly. I think that's what's going on throughout the world with a lot of cults. I think it's just an experimental ground. They've been experimenting.
I got contacted by Irish police, by the way.
Oh, cool.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one of the places that I was supposed to go to was to Ireland with my instructor. Because it was like a carrot dangling. He's saying, "Oh, Matt, I can see you on the governing body," as if I feel incentivized by that. I tell you what, my honest gut instinct was terrifying to me. But I realized from JW context that was his way of encouraging and saying, "Oh yeah, I can see you on governing body," and all of this story. We were supposed to go to Scotland. We were supposed to go to Ireland together. We were going to these dedication programs, and so we were right in the middle of, or the heart of the system in many ways. But I was actually feeling really sick with the things that I was witnessing. I was looking at how things were going, and I was looking at this, and I was going, this doesn't sit right with my conscience. The more that I'm getting involved in these kind of things. And when he was saying, "Look, this is our next destination," I started blowing him off. I was going, "No, I'm busy. I'm occupied. No, I'm not doing this anymore." And essentially because I couldn't see how I could reconcile abusing people just to fund things. I just couldn't.
Okay, Jane.
Do it.
Jane said real quick, I want to address. Jane made a good point here. This has been going on since biblical times with coercive persuasion. Absolutely correct, and they perfected it throughout the centuries. Number two, Epstein had a niche, but the niche was, here's the thing with, I'll say his name, Epstein. He did not just get Wall Street and figure out how to make money. He had an inside information on that. I am 100% convinced of it. And what the information chain that he had gathered, he was getting the leaders of the world and the leaders of the states and getting the goods on their perversion, their weaknesses, and getting the goods on them and controlling them. And who was behind him? And that's the people that conveniently took those cameras out and put those officers to sleep with a lot of money. So,
and Anthony, can I ask you a question? I don't know if this one's a bit sensitive, but do you know something about remote viewing? Do you know something about the Stargate project? Do you reckon it's a load of baloney, or do you?
I personally don't believe. I don't know about. Well, I don't never say anything's total baloney, because as soon as I do, I'll find out there's something about it that's fact. But do I believe it wholeheartedly? No. But do I think it's possible? Yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I had some strange things. If you want to say mystical, or it's programming, or
right.
There's various eclectic ways that you can gather looking at it, and I think all points of view all help if you can put them together. Don't dismiss one, and don't be categorical about it. All right. So my viewpoint is respect all those various viewpoints, and you'll come towards taking this complete spectrum, and you've got a better idea of what's going on. So what is it? A Beautiful Mind? You remember Russell Crowe? There's A Beautiful Mind, and he can look at things, and it's making shapes, and persons hear music, and they look at a color, and they see a musical tone, and it's just people have different ways of processing information, right? I mean, that's not so far-fetched. But I was looking at things like automatic writing in the organization, looking at remote viewing, or mind sight, I think is the more accurate thing. And I remember going towards the top tiers and saying, oh, this is what's happening in the organization. This is what's happening with these different abilities. And they're calling them Christ's amplification of abilities. This is what they're talking about. They say, oh, the power of discernment, power of perception, Christ amplifies it. And I'm going, wow, this is mind-blowing stuff. I'm enthused. I want to know more about it, and I want to know how to fine-tune it, and I want to know how to be responsible, and I want to know about supreme ethics. If you're able to take a look at people's lives in such detail, what is the ethics? Because I wonder if people are so comfortable about it. And I didn't, and I got into a lot of trouble for that. I'm thinking that is our natural innate spirituality, and I'm thinking that JW is all about that, only to discover that no, that is not what you should be dealing with, because it threatens the artificial authority structure, only to find out later on that that's exactly what I plug Stargate. I say that's exactly what that's all about. That's what information.
Real quick here, I want to answer something that Born JW said. Born JW said, it's interesting that Epstein did all of these criminal trafficking, so on, and yet only that woman is, Ghislaine Maxwell, is connected to any of his crimes.
Yes.
Make it make sense. Just Google Ghislaine Maxwell's father. That's all you have to do. And if you Google her father and you think Epstein was something, Google her father in the story.
So tying into that comment, because I have been looking at these things, and I see Prince Andrew there, and I see Born AJW talking about you know what there.
Yeah.
They use these mind abilities however you want to say it works, however these protocols work, whether it's sitting in a JW think tank or working in a high control religious think tank, or in Scientology, wherever it is, or with Russell Targ and SRI. They would, the US Congress was essentially paying for these think tanks to trace some of these criminal activities. So you could use those protocols like Grill Flame, and you could see, okay, well, what's Epstein's network? How does this thing work?
Yeah.
And you want to know something? Nothing was hidden.
No.
And I went for a test, Anthony. I went for a test because I wanted to see is how much my mind is blown. And I went back into one of those programs, and there is a whole CSA that is truly horrifying, where they believe that they can harvest certain chemicals from traumatizing children that gives them. Yeah.
Oh yes, I've read this. Oh,
I'm trying not to be too specific, but I can see you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So Epstein looks like a facilitator for that. So yes, there's a sex trafficking thing, but it's even more hectic than that.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. I didn't mean to cut you short, but yeah, I know where that goes, and yeah, it is possible. Now, it's if you just research those the things that people can find without going down too many rabbit holes, to take a look at big pictures of how everybody is connected. Just look at the CIA agents that were connected to Ghislaine Maxwell's father. How a lot of British royalty, because they were British, by the way, a lot of the British royalty was connected to them, and how he had goods on them way back when, and how I don't want to say too much. How do I put this? There was a young lady, well, an older lady now, that came out, and she talks about something similar happening to her with mentioning earlier Rockefellers, and it tied in with the Rothschilds, and to the most wealthiest men in the world, all to get the goods on. because once you get the goods on them, you can threaten them to expose them and control them.
So are we talking about our darker nature? If we hadn't grown up this way or that way, Anthony, could that have been us also involved in some of the darker nature, some of the more profane things?
I would hope not. I think a lot of it is greed, power, and sometimes I think it's attached to well, it's greed and power is what I'm going to leave it at that. Greed and power is the main motivator there, and for gain. Sometimes gain of country, gain of political power, to have that that ultimate power. That's what it's really for, and that's what's going on. It goes far beyond cults, far beyond. They use cults as a testing ground.
Yeah, look, I heard from Joe McMonigal, who was regarded as the #1 agent in Stargate. And he goes, oh, all of these entities is us. Okay, hold on, let me be careful. I perceived or I comprehended from him, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, that he's saying that these entities is us. So when there is something that's perceived as an evil nature or a darker nature, it's just us, right? And you're putting it into theosophical terms, because they say, look, good and evil, it's darker. You know, all of these things are intermingled. It's just our nature. It's part of being human, you know. So we don't necessarily say good. We don't necessarily say evil. We just say that there's these different modalities that come out in our nature.
Right.
But he's basically saying, oh yeah, this is us. This is just us. And why are there all of these control systems? And the thing that I saw in JW was this. That book, Angels and Women, which is connected to Ciola, and basically saying that humans need to have these controls, because if we don't, then our darker nature is just going to cut the planet in half. So we actually have to suppress.
Yes. Now, does everyone have a dark side? I mean, everybody has something. That's, if you're an honest human being, there's something you have either thought at least once in your life. I mean, there's something there. But the things that makes us different is that side that is good is more powerful. And that's the Asians with the yin and yang. And if you have, but of course they believe in a balance, but you need that more powerful side that keeps you to that honest to your heart, honest to yourself, good for your soul kind of thing. And, you know, people who don't follow that and go off the rails end up doing bad things like we're talking about.
So I take that as a hopeful message, Anthony. I mean, I listen to you talking like that and I go, you know what, that sits well with me. Because I think we got into the trouble that we did get into because we didn't fit into that club. We were going, no, this is not cool. I'm not cool with this.
Yep.
So what does that say about our nature? It says that there is actually something good, and if we look at a video of our own lives and our embarrassments, and when we stole sugar when we shouldn't have, or we had our hand in the or I upset a girlfriend, or I betrayed somebody, and it's not one of my proudest moments, or I had a dirty thought.
It's human.
That I want to say, well, hang on a second. I think the good side did assert myself, which is how we got here.
There you go. And that's the difference that some people are weak, and I hate to say that because it's all here. Everything's here. So if you choose to be good, you can feel the difference. It's like, it's up to you. Is that divine? I believe that it is, but not everybody does. but it's choosing that right path. You just instantly know it's right. You feel it. But when people say they've never thought anything, oh, I've never, then that makes me wonder about them, because I'm going, okay, you're a liar.
Well, I asked Russell Targ this question.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to ask him the question. I said, "Oh, if we've got this remote viewing ability,
Yeah.
okay, like you talk about, whether somebody accepts it or not," I said, "Oh, if we're seeing the future, can we do something? Can we mitigate the future?"
Yeah.
And he answered me. He actually stopped the discussion and he answered me, because I thought, "Oh, I'm going to get blown off on this." And he says, "Yeah, by the way, if you can see that the car's wheel's going to come off," he says, "you can mitigate it." He says, "You could mitigate it by taking it into a garage and take off the wheel, or it could still be on the road and the wheel comes off. But what we definitely know is the wheel's going to come off. So you could mitigate that future by looking at it."
Right.
And the whole idea is that he is subscribing to the idea that we have supreme free will, which is a very good idea, because then that means that we're not completely predestined, that there's enough complexity in this universe that within, if you want to say universal consciousness or supreme consciousness, there's this idea of free will. And I find that quite comforting, because then that means that we still have the power to choose. We have the power to choose something good.
Absolutely. Because it's the person, it's the individual, your choice. And you feel it. You know when you've chose something right. You know when you've done good. It's a good feeling. It feels warm, you know? And that's, I think some people, it's just, there again, the word weakness still pops to my mind. And maybe that's what it is. It's just a weakness that they fall for, that lust for something.
So with your theme, so the theme is Watchtower's in trouble. So the reason why Watchtower's in trouble with the court system is it's people trying to seek justice, right?
Right.
Because they failed to uphold justice when it counts. You want to talk about CSA, you want to talk about the vaccine, you want to talk about, I saw in the comments somebody was talking about Malawi or the tribalism in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these kind of failures that have occurred, the reason why Watchtower is having to deal with all of these court cases is it's people trying to seek justice or trying to liberate their spirit because they've been under this abuse or they've been under this oppression. So I think the takeaway thing from what I'm hearing with the way that you're presenting things, the positive takeaway is we have the power to exercise our free will, and we can make a choice to stand up courageously for what's truthful. And in the soil of truth, however dirty it is, that's where love grows.
And truth will always prevail no matter what, because the more people sweep crap under the carpet, the bigger the pile gets. Sooner or later, you're going to see it. So the truth will prevail. It's just easier just to be it. It's like I heard one time when I was very young. It's just so much easier to tell the truth because you don't have to remember all those lies. You know, sooner or later, the big pile on the carpet's going to come out. And
Anthony, did you get training for like life coach or some psychology, or are you self-taught?
I'm self-taught. That's how I knew about Dianetics. I was really intrigued with that. And then when I learned about Scientology, not so much intrigued. But then I learned where Dianetics come from, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And so it's psychology, and it works. It does work. Now, you have to be careful because people can be programmed. So, you have to use your own mind to be strong enough to know what to take from that, But there's a lot of things, a lot of books out there to read. And if you want to know about psychology or know about how the brain works, but every human has a different view of things, and that makes it amazing. mean, we have similarities, all of us do. That's what makes it also amazing. But
Yeah.
we've had different experiences, which gives us a tiny different view.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Have you had psychological training or something?
I I did some in Zimbabwe for the deaf community, or the sign language, or the hearing impaired. I don't know how you refer to them in a politically correct way, but we say the hearing impaired.
Yeah.
So some just very low level psychology, nothing major, no degree or anything like that. But I did some psychology there, and then when things were just basically getting out of control, and there was just all this coercion, and my doctors being pitted against each other, my doctor, who is a scientist, two doctors, they're both scientists, they said to me, Matt, we're going to tell you something here. We're going to treat you for your medical condition because we can see the stats and everything like this. But with what we know with you about JW, why don't you go and see a psychologist? So I said, I'm already seeing one.
Well, some people, I am very pro seeing a psychologist, especially people leaving a cult, because it's very traumatic. And, it's like a death, and you have to go through all the grieving processes, and it's what you've known. It's what is inside you, and you're giving that up, and you're vulnerable, you feel, and you feel betrayed, you feel angry, there's a lot of mixed emotions going on, and you've got to work through that to get out of it, because it's not a normal thing to feel that way. That's not what our Heavenly Father and our Creator give us to feel. He give us a brain to think. He give us emotions and feelings. That's when you know when you've done something good. You feel it. When you've done something bad, it's and that's what He give us. So when you leave a cult, those things have been messed with. The programming's been tampered. So you have to have some type of way to work through that, to get it out of you, so you can have a good life and see things through a different eye, because you're still got, and it takes years sometimes to get past the view of a cult. I mean, it's just.
I like what Jenny Pop.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Anthony, I agree. I like what Jenny Parfum says, and declare the truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Indeed, falsehood is bound to vanish.
Absolutely. And she also, I like this, she said, you have to learn and think for yourself again. Bingo. That is 100% true, Jenny. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Oh, hey, Mama Sue.
And Happy Thoughts 77. I tell you, Happy Thoughts, I really enjoy your positive connection. You say, yes. I also think we have a connection with those who are on the same journey. Yeah, I steer towards that belief, Happy Thoughts. And by the way, again, I really appreciate the positive energy that you put around the internet. I really think your work that you do is phenomenal. So thank you very, very much.
And see, that's with everything. And I don't, I've read everything at some point, not everything, but I've read a lot about different religions. And I don't ever talk about another person's religion unless it's damaging. And that's there's a few things, like there's some that's not really damaging. It's like, okay, if that's just what you prefer to do, go for it. And then there's some that just, they have a lot of good teaching in it, and it's up to you, if that's what you want to follow. You know, I consider myself a Christian, but you know, that's personal, and I don't judge anyone else, and that's just what I prefer. You know.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about our family before we became JW. I mean, it's got a Jewish connection. There's Rosicrushna, even Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. I don't know if you remember that transcendental meditation movement. And I look at that and I go, geez, there's a lot from all of these different, even Scientology. I'm going to put this out there, Anthony. Yeah. Even Scientology. You want to know something? There's a psychologist pal of mine, and he says to me, Matt, I'm going to tell you this one. They're onto something. Go, wow, that's quite a statement.
Well, so yes.
Yeah. And I mean, that's quite a thing. I'm not dismissing the controversial side. I'm not dismissing trafficking. I'm not dismissing the abuse. I think in all of these things, there is our darker nature. Yeah. There's an abusive side. There's a darker nature. Or persons who target these things and see a vulnerability and they exploit it. But then there's also, in my travels, I saw somebody talking about Islam just now, or Allah.
Yep.
I've been in dire straits and the Islamic community coming to my aid. And I'm there preaching JW, and these are the people who were saving me from an awful situation. What's going on there?
Well, living in Los Angeles, I got a chance to meet a lot of people from all cultures, from people that followed Islam, people who were Sikh, people who were Hindu. I mean, you name it, it was there. And when you get to meet a lot of different people and learn a lot of different cultures, not just the religious aspect, the cultural aspect, and you learn that everybody has one thing in common. They're looking for what's right. And I can't, who am I to judge somebody looking for something right? You know, what's right, what's true. Because I could be wrong. They could be right. Who knows? That's why I like the Zoroastrians. I really like them a lot.
Well, I mean, that's a real old belief system, Zoroaster. I mean, what is it? Thus spake Zarathustra. That's the 2001 theme tune or theme song, isn't it? Thus spake Zarathustra.
Yep. And see, so few. Yeah, it's true. Actually, yes. All right, we're moving fast here. All right, didn't realize.
There is a tremendous amount coming through the comments, and there are so many good comments here, Anthony. I must mention Mama Susu. Mama Susu, big thanks for your support. I must mention, I do see you chipping in there, and I see your contribution, and yes, I hear you. I might not always look like I'm listening, but I really do appreciate your encouragement and your connection as well. So thank you very much. Happy thoughts, yes. William Graves, why no Watchtower? Explain to me. What's that about?
Okay. Why no Watchtower? Why not to be part of the Watchtower? Why they shouldn't be a Watchtower? Watchtower.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's harmful. It's hurtful to people. It controls minds. It limits thought. It limits education, knowledge. It controls everything about your life. It tells you what you can listen to, what you can read, what you can follow, what you can think, what you can wear, how you wear your beard. I mean, everything. Yeah. It tells you your entire life. It controls you. That's damaging. That's actually disgusting.
So, Anthony, to answer William Graves, if we're in the right direction, I think William Graves must just chip in and tell us if we acknowledging them correctly. But that was the Genesis account with Laban. Am I correct? It was Laban who was now jealous about Jacob's flocks surpassing his own, and then they set up the stones upon a stone, which is the first watchtower, because that was the egregore that and then they animated it. That became Jehovah's Eye, which is this first reference of a panopticon. So a panopticon is a prison situation. Everybody's in their cell, and you've got this guard tower that's able to look in, and it keeps everything in line. Yep. So this is where the Scientology prison planet comes from, and this panopticon, where it keeps everybody in line, so we don't cut the planet in half, or we don't harm the tribe. That's the panopticon. That's what the positive side of Watchtower is. But unfortunately, it's overstepped its mandate, or maybe it was always corrupt to begin with, or it goes back to the time of Laban, and you say, well, that should never have occurred, and Laban was abusing the situation. I think Laban means light.
It does.
Oh no, it means white. Light.
I thought it was light. What? Laban
is white.
Right? Isn't it German for light?
Well, yeah. If it's white, then it's white light.
Oh, yeah. Light. That's what I'm saying. Light. Or light.
Yeah, and the color white. It's purity.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody in the comments can just check that, but I think Laban means white. But that whole thing, you could say that whole story, whether it's just an archetype, I would accept that. I would accept that that's an archetype of our nature, or it's a replicating pattern. But I believe that would be your first watchtower that was set up, that is in your biblical record. If you want to go to Gilgamesh, or you want to go to Akkadian scripts, I'm sure that you would find the same kind of story replicating in other civilizations.
A lot of the Babylonian beliefs and the Jewish beliefs kind of intertwined at one point. So, who was first? I stay out of that one. It's like,
yeah. So I don't know if that answers the question from the William Graves. Why no Watchtower? I think they just overstepped their boundaries.
Because they control everything about you. Everything. That goes against the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, it goes against it. It says to study and research everything.
So is a panopticon there? If it's there to stop us from cutting civilization into pieces or destroying the planet, that would be a good thing. But if there's nothing keeping it in check, then does it become corrupt? And I think that's why we're seeing it in these court cases, because you got people that were attracted towards the egotistical side, or to the power side, or to the money side. What did you say? 54 billion in assets. And it's got out of hand, because who checks it? Who watches Watchtower?
And then supposedly the LDS Church has over almost 600 billion. It's over 500, almost 600 billion.
Okay. So let's say, for instance, Sweden reverses its decision, or Norway loses in the Supreme Court. Well, then it comes back to these kind of discussions. The more that awareness floods the internet while we still have opportunity, and I hope we still have opportunity. I hope it doesn't come to this tyrannical system.
Yeah.
I think the more that this awareness, the more you're getting up and you're doing enactments and knocking on the door, there's KC, the more that those things come out, I think we are getting to a threshold where polarity is reversing now. It's what I hear in the Bethels. I hear that people just don't believe what they're teaching. Don't think they can.
That's what's going on. But a lot of people today have researched things. The internet has made everything so available that people start their journey and then they lose interest in all religion before restarting their journey, because there's so much available. And I did the same thing. I mean, a lot of people do. That's just normal progression. and then you find where you feel you found your truth. You know, it's what makes you feel good and whole as a person, not from a dictatorship, but from a free and open spirituality. Let's see here. And another thing, have you ever noticed the Bible has two different creation stories, by the way?
Yeah.
What do you think about
It-
that?
I think it's a multi-dimensional book. I think the Bible is a truly impressive um, product. I think it's amazing. Jenny Parfum, Islam is the fastest growing religion, and I think the internet is one reason for that. But I mean, isn't Islam also controlled by Vatican as well? I mean,
No,
what is the...
I don't think so on that one. But I think Islam, the teachings it's grown. I mean, it went through a spell where it grew really fast before the Holy Crusades, and I mean, all the way over into parts of Europe like Romania. We all know about Count Draculus, and we Croatia and Bosnia. They've been fighting for God knows how long, and parts of well, then Turkey got taken, and the Byzantine Empire, all that fell. We know that Islam goes through spells of growth, just like Christianity goes through spells of growth.
Okay, so look, I don't want to put you on the spot there, but I mean, what was your studies of the Quran like? I mean, were you able to get through that?
I did, and I found that do I think that it's spiritual? It's a spiritual book. So, with that being said, yes, I did, and I thought it does it. In my personal opinion, I studied it, I read it, and with respect to people who were, I didn't see it to be a controlling dictatorship as some people do, unless it become one certain version of Islam. There's
Yes.
different. It's just like any other religion. There's different versions. Okay.
Fanatical, Sufi.
Yeah.
Okay.
That branch off. But if it's just as the book reads, the Quran itself was actually. I read it. I was pretty impressed. Did I look at Islam? I did not, but it didn't have a bad view of it. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah. Jenny Parfum says, I think it's the most misunderstood religion. I would agree with that. I think a lot of these things are misunderstood. I think you can also have a lot of things abused. And I think that's why you were saying you don't necessarily condemn one religion above another. What we condemn is we condemn the abuses that we find within those things. And eventually it gets to a saturation point. And that's the problem.
Oh,
that's
Lion,
the thing.
There you go. That's another thing that Watchtower does that I don't agree with. They dictate you. They don't want you to have psychological health, mental health. They do not like it because they know you will leave.
Yeah. Lioness 130, you got it. Well, I haven't found anything disrespectful on the channel here, Anthony. I think it's generally just lighthearted. Yeah, we do have some jokes and things like this, but
Of course.
I think it's generally respectful. And I think your approach there of looking at all of the religions, what is it in Islam? I can definitely see within there is a path to having a balanced way of living. I absolutely can see that. If somebody says, "Oh well, do you deny that?" I can't deny that.
Well, that's just like if you look at Latter-day Saints. That's a good one. Okay. I've read the Book of Mormon. I grew up around a lot of Mormons. I had family members, some of them that were. Of course, there was a lot of different national or religious beliefs in my family. But I think it's great. I think it's a very loving and peaceful book. Okay. Now, is there sects of that religion that is branched off that are harmful? Absolutely. But as the mainstream version of it, no, not at all. And I don't get when people start saying that. They don't shun. They want you to get higher education, because to be closer to God, you got to be more educated. Because if you're more educated, you're going to do what? You got to give 10% tithing. That's why they worth almost $6 billion or $600 billion. That's,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. So they want people to be more educated, and the people that leave are usually more educated. Do some families shun? Yes, but is it in their doctrine? No. So they don't do shunning. It's not in their doctrine. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to go out and get the people to come back. Now, if you get excommunicated, you do have to be rebaptized. So,
Jenny Parfum says, I'm a Muslim for 10 years, and I can say that there is no controlling like in the JW by elders. It's
oh, wow. 100% agree with you, Jude.
Responsibility. Yeah.
And it's like I said, there's different sects of every religion that's bad. Jehovah's Witnesses don't have that. They're just a cult that is controlled.
Yeah.
Every moment of every aspect of your life.
Jenny Parfum, Bismillah, Chavan, Nirachim, Achalan, Rasachalan.
There you go. That's pretty cool that you know that. I guess living in Africa, you would have to learn that, right?
Everything I do in Allah's name. Yep. I start. Yeah, you also have you have the more poetic side, or I feel there's the more poetic side with the Lebanese.
Yes, and I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but Islam has given the people of Islam has given our culture a lot of things. And a lot of medical things, a lot of mathematical things. They've done a lot of things. People forget those parts. They don't talk about, And a lot of poetry that you mentioned is really cool.
Yeah. There's different tiers. I mean, you've got different tiers. You've got your common tiers, but also you go towards your princes, your nobility classes. It gets very, very poetic.
Yes. But those brothers have fought each other for God knows how long. Oh yeah, and Jeannie says it's the same time that they were backwards. That's sad, but true.
Yeah, so look, Linus 130, what was that? That's the controlling factor. Control through it's information control.
You got it. Elders made life-altering decisions with no education or training in human psychology or personal disorder. That is 100% true, Linus. And they put themselves in a place they do not belong. Which should be illegal. That is illegal, right? Yeah. But they still do it anyway. I guess in religion, maybe you can get away with that. I don't know.
Well, you get away with it through closed door consultation and saying you can't record this because now there isn't any transparent accountability. That's the way it's done. That's why Watchtower has, or the weed class among Watchtower has got away with what it has for so long, and now it's catching up in the court system. What's your theme?
Yeah,
I mean that's the theme for today's channel, right?
Right. Yeah, that was the theme in the beginning, but we usually just talk. But I'll just tell you real quick, Casey, this channel is something I started. I made one video, which you can go look. It's called The Culterton. And I just didn't want to mess with it. I was like, this is I was just making a video to make a point. This is a cult that people are following. And I just let it sit because I was thinking, let everybody make their own decision eventually. She saw the channel sit there. She didn't even know I'd had it there for a while. And she says, I would like to reach out and try to help people and make it lighthearted and to give people a way to escape from the things that Watchtower does. And it's all her idea, guys. That's, it's her. Because she has the softest, sweetest heart you guys have ever seen.
Well, if you don't mind me being personal, I'm going to say it's both of you, because Anthony, I see your protection coming through for KC. I see your protection coming through for the community. And I'll go, well, what drives people to do this week after week after week? Maybe it's the same thing that attracted us to JW. Maybe that's what it is.
Well,
But I
to do good. It's everybody has it. I mean, even the most wicked person has. They've turned their back to it, but at one time they've had it. It just, but you know when you've done good, you know when you've done bad. But the feeling of doing good is so much better. It's like you feel that feeling. You just know. You know if you've done something good, you feel good. And maybe that's a selfish thing. I don't know, but I would prefer that over feeling miserable any day of the week.
Yeah, and what is it? Follow your highest joy, right? So if you're getting a buzz or you're getting a joy from this, I would say that's a positive direction. That's a creative direction. I see that there's a few comments coming in. A girl with a purse, 03. A while after I got out, I took classes in psychology. Helped me move on from the JW trauma. Yeah.
Oh, happy thoughts. I agree with you on that too. Where did it go? Here it is.
What was that? Love of God, love of neighbor.
Yeah. Is that correct? Is that the right one? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are good comments, guys. Oh, and Jenny. Let's see. There was a old black man 2 years ago who worked for the government. Didn't click on it. Where'd it go? Told me Watchtower LDS prophets talk and broke bread many times. Actually, that's true. I don't know if you guys were aware, but they also done this with a television evangelist. I forget his name.
Jimmy Swaggart.
And they done that to try to team up with him in fighting lawsuits. Because they were charging for their little pamphlets, and so was Jimmy Swaggart, and they got in trouble for it. And they had actually helped Jimmy Swaggart's campaign by donating, I forget how much, but you can actually Google this and find it. And they donated, what was it, a couple million, wasn't it, to his campaign? And they still lost it, and then it has parted ways real quick.
Yeah. Jenny Parfum makes a very good point there. I like that in the Islam you have 5 schools of thought. You have to study them to conclude for yourself. You can compare them, and that is what you can't do in the JW. You have only one direction. So it's opening up the ability to use thinking ability.
Yep. There's only one train of thought, and that's what comes from the governing body. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah. But we lie because we say, oh, the reason why Russell got together is they were able to discuss Bible subjects. And people believe that that's still happening. I got a letter today. Somebody saying to me, oh, can I write to the Bethel? I said, well, all the best, because you know what? They're not even picking up their mail. They don't pick up registered post. You have to send it through DHL courier now. They won't pick.
People don't know. Like, their versions of things are so hilarious. But if you look at the actual history of Watchtower, did Russell know Jonas Wendell? Yes. They were friends. Jonas Wendell is the one that started that Bible student study group. And he wrote a book called Meet in Due Season. And that's where Russell took the 1874 Christ Presence, the 1799 The End Begin, and the 1878 Jesus Would Take the Throne in Heaven. It come out of that book. He just took and stole it from him. And then when Wendell died, George Stetson took over, and Russell's father Russell was just a secretary. Russell's father was vice president. And then I forget the guy's name that was president. They done that for a while, and then Russell got some doctrinal issues with him, and he just basically got jealous because he was getting more attention, and Russell didn't like it. And he gets up with Barber, and they start printing books together and magazines together. And then he gets mad with Barber and goes on his own because he didn't like being second fiddle to nobody. Did he believe this stuff? I don't think Russell really believed. I think he saw the money and the capital he was getting from it.
Yeah, because I mean, even nowadays, what is the way that you benefit from tax breaks? You open up a PBO,
Yeah,
or an NPO, and
Yep.
direct things into a museum and make sure that that's all running correctly. And you've got transportation, and you've got all these perks going on for these facilities, and you benefit from the facilities.
Yep. Well, where I was going with that point, God, I got sidetracked. Where I was going with that point was Watchtower's version of that. They do acknowledge the 1799, the 1874, 1878 in the Proclaimer's book, right? They just briefly touch on it, don't really say much about it, but they got clarification, is the way they put it, right? Now, 1914, they never tell the truth about. They always allude to a different story. But 1914 was Rutherford came up with that in 1929. Because when it didn't happen, Russell turned it to 1916. Then, before he died, he changed it to 1918. It was Rutherford that took it to 1925, and then in 1929, he said, wait a minute. 1914 was when Christ took the throne in heaven, and he wiped out the other dates.
Yeah.
It was all Rutherford. So they make it look like it's Russell, and I was like, that is so silly.
Yeah.
To take those books and writings that Russell done and twist it, but then when you really get into it and see what was being taught, you're like, oh, okay, I've been bamboozled.
Yeah. But isn't that interesting now that you have the information, you can make peace with it. You can actually make peace with it. The more you learn, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Russell and Ellen White would play. Ellen White was a Final War. Hey, am I correct? Keith Thorne.
Ellen White, she had been hit in the head with a rock, and she had visions and, ideas.
What damaged the brainstem?
Right, and 1914 was the date that she had originally mentioned as well. But I think he did get the 1914 from her. But the 1874, 1878, that all come from Jonas Wendell. Which Wendell took the 1799 from William Miller, the Millerites. So and that's, you can see how it got bastardized as it come down from Miller through to where it is, actually from John Aquella Brown down to where it is today. But Watchtower.
And is Casey all right there?
Yeah, she had to go take care of the dogs, and I think she had a few things she had to do. She has to get some things prepared as well.
Right.
I hear her clinging around the kitchen.
So, Anthony, are you happy with the free flow of conversation, with how it's going? Are you happy with that? Are you happy with the interaction with the chat here?
I love the interaction with the chat the most. I like the free flow of conversation. I like them both, so it's kind of hard to say. The interaction with the chat is really interesting because I love to hear everyone else's opinion, because when everybody else gives their thought, their opinion, or their experience, you're able to communicate and feel what they're trying to say, and that gives you an idea of what was going on in Watchtower for them. Because then you get to see the different versions of coming to a bottleneck, and that gives you a really strong indicator of what the cult really does. And I like that. Now, Casey, she just wants to just help people, and she likes the interaction because she really gets that feeling I'm helping somebody, and that just makes her happy. That's just the person she is. Which I like to see everything about it,
Yeah.
She
Yeah, and
likes
it keeps us aware.
outside of things.
Yeah. Well, I look at these kind of discussions and I go, it's a microcosm for the greater worldview.
Right.
Oh, yeah, happy thoughts. I heard that Watchtower is going to be involved with interfaith, something I watched a forum a couple of years ago where JW was represented. Well, look, I mean, happy thoughts, you think about replacement theology, right? If you're looking at Zionist movement or Balfour Declaration, and you were talking about Rockefellers earlier, Anthony, a lot of these things are all predictive. It was all part of a plan that was put down on paper long ago. I mean, there isn't actually a surprise here.
Yep. Oh, I missed this. Okay, Lioness 130. My theory is every human has it within their soul to self-direct their journey. Awesome that we can find our tribe to move together in each one's own path. True, that is true. But then again, we have to be careful with that because you got to remember, make the truth your own kind of thing. Try to keep that out of that kind of thought because you could easily sway, But that's a really nice thought, Linus. I like that. No spraying chicken.
And Girl with a Purse, 03. Man, this is the mystery of religion. Projects as being into objectivity and then again makes himself an object to this projected image of himself, Ludwig Feuerbach. But I mean, that fits in with theosophy.
Well, but then you could go in a little bit further with that and just say God is dead, and we all know who did that. I don't know how many people like Nietzsche, but
Paul Yerkes, 4411. We got to find those Cadillacs. I live right by Jay Leno's garage, and he drives by all the time. We got to find him. He has researchers. Imagine if we did, eh?
Oh my! I wonder if he has those. I mean, because he has a major car museum.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Actually, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Because they had to have stayed there to the JW sold Bethel or Bessary, and they would have sold those with it. You would have figured.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's things that make Bessarium look tame now.
Oh yeah. But for that, man, San Diego property, Matthew, gosh, I don't know if you're aware of how much that. All right, if you look at the old reels of where he's standing, there's houses there today where the orange orchard was, right? And you can still see that massive backyard of that property.
Yeah.
But it was way bigger than that. In San Diego, that's $1 billion property, if not more. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. I wonder if they're like, God, we shouldn't have sold that yet.
Yeah.
Huh. It's good.
Willy Wonka, I found the gold.
I love it. Oh, Paul.
Sorry.
Paul. We have got to find those Cadillac. Oh, yeah, that's what you just read. I like that. Let me put that up there. Man, that would be so cool to have those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be great. Keith Silver also said, Willy Wonka, I found the golden plate. Well, isn't that the same story with Moses? I mean, Moses goes up on the mountain and he brings down the tablets. But I mean, who was he with? He goes up by himself.
Right. And he comes down white-headed with a white beard, and he has stone tablets, though. But he throws them down, then he has to go back up and get new ones.
Destroys them, yeah, sure.
Yeah. You're like, God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, God, but I'm back. Can you do that for me one more time?
Yeah.
Those people were fornicating, being idols, and doing everything down there. I'm sorry, I got mad and threw them.
So, Anthony, where do you think this is heading? Do you think that the governments are going to get... Oh, this is a question I got for you. Here we go.
Yes.
Do you think, speculating,
yeah,
do you think that governments are getting on top of not just Watchtower, but a lot of these high control religious ideas, like Norway is declaring or redefining laws because of what is it? Psychological violence that is being done to people, and it's recognizing it more. Do you think we're going to get on top of it? Or do you think that actually it's not in government's interest to actually get on top of it? Because if we do start stopping these religions, that we actually make more of a totalitarian system. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, here's what I actually think is going to happen. I do think the governments are going to get on top of this with Watchtower because it's inhumane what they're doing. And it's very obvious, blatant. You can't be that obvious, that blatant, being so inhumane to people and controlling everything about a human being without having repercussions. But will it destroy Watchtower? I think it will come very close, but I think somebody just recently hit the nail on the head what I think. I think they will sell Kingdom Halls, and eventually it will be an online religion with a gathering every so often, quarter or whatever, where people get together and they can still dictate and still control the members to some extent. Kind of like Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts had a massive control over his people, selling those pamphlets and healing pads. And, you know, he had a church set up that people went to, but the majority of people didn't go to that one church. He had people all over the world, but yet he still was able to dictate people's lives. And he did it in a really subtle way, and I think that's where they're heading. I think they're going to be an online, massive church.
Oh, it's interesting that you say that. I've been holding back on this one on my channel. I thought about it, and I sort of thought, yeah, I'm not quite ready to talk about it. But I see Jane Spitfire says, no, it will not destroy Watchtower. I think there's a two-edged sword with this. As soon as you now bring in regulation to such a degree that you clamp down on every type of crime, you create an unbearable situation. You create a society that becomes very, very difficult to operate in. Now, I'm not saying I condone crime, but as soon as you now stop every crime and you stop everything and you anticipate and you prevent, you stop humanity.
Right.
It becomes impossible.
Well, here's the thing that gets me with them and why I do think it will take them down a lot. Watchtower only has approximately $50 billion. And in today's, to us as just normal individual humans, that sounds like an amazing amount of money, and it is for us. But when you got lawsuits worldwide and you've got a lot of harassment, that goes quick. Millions of dollars going out left, right, billions go quick. And I mean, these are not normal cases. Just to give everybody an idea, and you can Google this, the Catholic Church spent $5 billion on a fourth of the cases that Jehovah's Witnesses asked. Think about that, 1/4 of the cases. They have 3/4 more cases, and it's 20 years later. That's a lot of money, man. The Catholics, who is a $1 trillion church, so that's difference. They're out of the billions, they're trillions. But they spent $5 billion. So just to give everybody an idea of where that could go, real quick and ugly.
Yeah.
Look up the numbers and see how many cases here, how many cases there, just so you can get an idea. And you can see how much money. You can Google that as well. And you can see the $5 billion the Catholics spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nursing homes and all that. I mean, that's everything conglomeration is what they're saying is worth 50. They're saying all of their 1,000 incorporated companies, their umbrella companies, is worth about 50 billion. It's not a very prosperous religion as some religions. Because one thing, they kept their members uneducated. and that hurt them. They could change their name and start, but they would have to, because if it becomes bankrupted or they have to belly up, it's illegal to start the church or start the organization back with the same members, and they'd have to change everything and start up with some new people teaching the same beliefs. So yes,
Well, what happened with Jimmy Swaggart? Oh, what happened with Jim Bakker?
That would be exactly what would happen. Bingo. Because he went to a whole nother church and he's doing something different.
Yeah.
And that Vision Land or whatever it was called, it's all destroyed. It's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and that was
because
billions. There you go with billions. That was in the 80s and it was worth billions. 10 billion, right?
Yeah.
And that's all
because they were very specific with what he could operate with and what he couldn't. They were clear with their stipulations, and he had to find alternatives.
Oh, Paul, Beth Serene next weekend, baby. There's a cool vintage motorcycle shop there. Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. That's interesting from Happy Thoughts.
Yeah. What's that?
You see that, Anthony?
Oh, I Googled Jehovah's Witness and holdings. I was interested what AI come up with. Jehovah's is the 6th richest religion. Yeah. I mean, 50 billion is quite a bit. I don't think it's the 6th richest, but yeah. I mean, just to give you an idea, as far as wealthy religions, Catholic and Islam, I mean, those two in itself are, geez.
Yeah, that's trillions, isn't it?
Really up there.
Yeah.
The one that used to be the Moonies, what they call now Church of Unity Church, they were worth billions, and now they've really been hit hard.
Yeah.
Of course, wasn't it the children and the elders of that church that really messed their finances up, I think.
But it is a bit of a puzzle because the relationship between state and religion is an effective one. So to get rid of that, I wonder. I mean, that's how, what is it, the British Empire has worked. What is it? The Pope puts in the king, and the king gives the Pope the power. That's the relationship.
Oh no, LDS is not close to the Catholic Church financially. Nobody. Islam might be close, but nobody's close to the Catholic Church financially. Just the money they stole from Mexico, geez, or South America, Central America.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a good one from Jane Spitfire. Do you see that one, Anthony? It says, check out End of Times Church. Got one here. Their church looks like a Kingdom Hall.
Oh, yeah, that's who that is. Thank you, Jane. That's End of Times Church. Okay. I've heard of that, and I couldn't think of who it was. Remember, we had talked about that one time before.
Yeah.
End of Time Church. Okay. Man, I'm going to tell you now, Jane, she's on top of stuff.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, I'll tell you about Midrand Assembly Hall in Johannesburg. That went 3 times over budget when they shoved that thing up. And the infrastructure was such that every seat had air conditioning. They didn't put that in, by the way, but that was what they were promising. But it went 3 times over budget. But in the same location, you had Church of Scientology. And guess what? It's structured with all the Watchtower motifs. The whole structure is all these Watchtower motifs. So I go, well, that's very interesting that comes through.
Yep. Where did I see it? There it is. Yeah, but I think that they will fall to some extent, but I think that they'll start selling off Kingdom Hall, selling off buildings. They would have to keep their assemblies to some degree, because that would be their main way of herding people together, to make it that special meeting and do those online uh, uh, church services. And
Okay.
I really believe that's where they'll go. They'll have to, because everybody's wise to them now. Just a good idea. I mean, we posted pictures, and I challenge anyone to do this. Go into any Kingdom Hall across the U.S., and I don't know if it's in England from what I'm hearing now, and look at how few people are in there. And that gives you an idea of where it's going.
Right.
When I was
Yeah.
studying in 2018, Kingdom Halls were full. So that's a huge drop really quick. You know, it's 2018 to now. So, you know, just look for yourself. If you have doubt, go look for yourself, and you'll see real quick there's very few people left. And they're old. Here and there you see one or two young, but it's not like you used to be, where there's a lot of young and a lot of young guys, you know, passing the microphone and, you know, sitting in their seats and raising their hand. You know, you don't have that.
Yeah. Jane Spitfire says, what think of JW Books online and Amazon can buy?
Oh, on Amazon, you can buy Our Lord's Return, which is J.F. Russell's reprint. There's a lot of reprints. You can buy the reprint of Millions Now Live and Will Never Die, and it's exact copies, so you can buy it. Oh, Harp of God, I think they've got the reprint of. There's a lot you can get on there. Oh, you can get all of Russell's stuff, the books that he done, Studies in Scripture, but they're sold through the Russell Lights. They have a page where they sell them on there.
Who was on the comments that had a book that's worth 18,000 US that was signed by Russell? What was that one?
Hey, just go to eBay and look. I hadn't saw that on here, but just go to eBay and look at some of the prices. It's shocking. Some of them go for big money.
So who is that? Is that like Texan collectors, wealthy Texan collectors that are wanting to put this together for historical private collections? What's going on?
There are religious collectors. That is like a weird niche market. They collect religious books, cult religious books, and it is a huge market with some very financially wealthy people that buy them.
Yeah. I want a 1934 IBSA yearbook. See if you can find one of those.
That would be interesting. If you can, It would probably be a fortune.
Yeah, I reckon.
Let's see, what does that say? That's Happy Thoughts. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. The congregations. Yeah, that's very true. Happy Thoughts. Well, Jane, I was trying. Let's see, she's right above that.
Well, I'll tell you about my collection, Anthony. My collection comes from Writing Desk before they dismantled a lot of it. So it's actually got the stamps from Watchtower.
Oh my! Oh, now that's impressive. There was a few books I wanted to buy on there several times, and every time I went to buy them, they got out of my price. I saw one sell for $1,700 on there not too long ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what a full set from 1879 to more or less present would be, but I reckon you could fetch some pretty good money.
Yeah, you'd fetch some really good money. You would be better off to break it off individually than trying to sell it as a set, unless it was a very wealthy collector, and they are some of those. But as a set, you break it off individually. Yeah, you'd be really well.
Jenny Parfum says it's got an interesting question there, Anthony. Did you see that?
That's what I was looking for. Oh, here he is. Did any of you write a book about your experience with the Jehovah's Witnesses? I did not. Did you, Matthew?
You know what the way I'm tackling that, I'm trying to talk about things gradually on like my YouTube channel, because it puts it into the Ethernet. It puts it out there electronically, right? So in a way, what we are doing in these discussions all together with your comments, your chats, getting together like this is kind of our book in a way. But I know what you're talking about. Bring that information together, put it into a publication, and yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. But I think being able to talk and do maybe a monologue on a particular subject. I've seen you do those, Anthony. Those are great chapters. Those could go into a book.
Yeah.
I'd read it.
KC. Oh, really? Okay. I might do that. KC. I'm actually putting one together for my father right now. He was a writer. KC had thought about it, but she's in a unique situation. But she could write a book. Wow. Let's see. I threw my stuff from the 70s away. Oh, man. A long ago, but my mom has bookcase. I will have to check it out.
Yeah. No spring chicken. Keep it.
Yeah. Don't throw stuff away. It's worth money. And the good thing is, here's a good example. I was looking and looking for something. I could not find the year that it was in. I looked everywhere. January the 1st through 15th, 1986, the Watchtower admits they had a CSA problem, a wife swapping problem. I mean, all kinds of just immorality.
Oh, yeah.
And they disfellowshipped. And at this point in 86, they didn't have, a lot of members. And they disfellowshipped like almost 40,000 people in one swoop. You're like, wow. And they admitted it in writing. But you can't go online and just search things at JW Library anymore. They have something they're trying to hide, like that 86 magazine. They have disguised it where you'll never find it searching for those items that they say to, like disfellowship 36,000 blah 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 people. It don't show up, or CSA in Bethel don't show up. Nothing I would type in, and I found it because I stumbled upon where they had a picture of it, and so I was like, "What year is that?" And I blew it up to where I could finally see the cover of it, and I saw the date, and I was like, "Oh!" So then I went and found it.
Anthony, I noticed something today. I went back in my email because I've made backups of my email over the years, and I've made backups of backups. But I noticed that with certain sensitive things in Watchtower, when I searched on I don't know if you use Gmail. Do you use Gmail?
Yes.
When I went to search, the Gmail wouldn't bring up some of the more sensitive emails that I've got. And I got a big fright with that, because I thought, oh, have I got to rely on my offline version of Gmail? And I forced it, and I managed to see, it's still there in my Gmail account, but it was really hard to find it. Like if I type in certain sensitive keywords, it's like it doesn't want to help me. I've got to know the date. I've got to know where it is in my timeline.
Yes.
To find it.
That's what they call things, man. And You know how JW Library, you used to just type in one word if you was looking for something or a little phrase, and it would take you straight to it. Now they have limited. It'll still do it with certain items, but if you're looking for things like that 1986 Watchtower, good luck. You're not going to find it if you don't know.
Terrible.
Yeah, and
Absolutely terrible. So you've got to actually produce an offline AI and then feed all that information in to try and make an index.
What I did was I actually was watching a documentary and they showed the cover of that Watchtower. And so I went and I literally froze it, took a screenshot and blew it up to where I could see the date in the top right corner. And I saw January of 80. I was like, oh, I've got it now. And so I went and downloaded that issue, and I had to read through a bunch of different things to find it. And I finally found where it was all there. I was like, okay, now I got it. And so I put it on everything just for the heck of it. Now I posted it. I'll put a little clip of it so people can read it when I'm doing a video. It's like, we've never had a problem. We've always been clean. This has been Jehovah's clean organization. I was like, this is an 86. What are you talking about? Clean my foot.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should show off the library sometime. I don't know what kind of collection you got, but yeah.
Pretty good, but ours is like, it don't go back past the 50s except for the things we purchased of Rutherford's. Now,
okay.
Oh, and there's one thing from Russell I've got, but everything else is 30s, 40s, a few things from the 20s, and a lot of stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. But there's some good stuff. It's a treasure trove if you just want to search through it. Drive you crazy.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can get a hard drive and get everything digitally from 1970. Well, even prior 1879. And the nice thing about having some hard copies is you can do an audit, some data audit, and just have some confidence in the scans. And yeah, I think you can rely on the digital scans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Digital scans are good. I do too. And you can just, screenshot a picture, cut it, put it on there, and it looks really good. It's high quality. And you can see that too if you just want to show a page. And that's what I usually do.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I absolutely do think that you should still keep the hard copies, though. Absolutely.
Always, because those hard copies are priceless. And people go crazy for them. That's like these elders manuals. You can every now and then catch them on eBay to sell. But when you do, they charge a fortune for them. And I know someone I can get them from. I've got one in Spanish right there. But I was like, why are they so expensive? But
that's a puzzle.
Like $200.
Really?
I'm not paying that for an elder's manual.
Well, what is it? Is it like new manuals or old manuals?
The new ones. Everybody wants that new one. The old one you get $40, $50. So, but still, if you're sitting on a box of them, if you as a coordinator, you're going to have some.
Yeah, we got some.
Yeah, see, you can start.
But I mean,
$50 a pop. You're like, God, it's crazy.
Okay.
By the way, guys, real quick, I noticed there's quite a few people here. Still, we haven't bored people to pieces. Thank goodness. Much love to you. Please hit the like button if you could. It helps us get out to more people. Puts us in the algorithms. Also, if you hadn't subscribed, please subscribe and leave comments below once we're done. Be very thankful for that, and feel free to share the video to whoever you'd like to. And
Anthony, thank you for being a gracious host and for letting me come on and enjoy the recovery and the healing process. And also thanks to everybody that's been chipping in and being really, really supportive. Thank you very, very much, and also to the community.
This has been a very interesting episode, and thank you so much, Matthew, for being here. It's always great when you're here. It's been very interesting. We covered a lot of different subjects.
So I'm going to wish you a good week, and I don't know when you're going to wrap up. When do you normally wrap up? Round about now?
About an hour ago.
Oh, really? Crumbs. Oh, so we've been pushing it.
Oh, that's great, man. I've had fun. It was actually fun just, hanging out and chatting. So, but I'm going to actually have to wrap up myself. But everybody, and by the way, if you really like what you're seeing here and you want to hit us with a cup of coffee, and if you're British, give us a spot of tea. It would be great. Just hit the little notification below. A cup of Rosalie. Hey, there you are. Guess who just walked back in? All right, you want to sign off and tell everybody?
Casey, I'm gonna sign off, but thank you very much as well, and looking forward to more of your dramas or whatever that you guys get inspired to put during the week. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely do some more then. We'll do some little skits.
Who's this real quick?
That's RC Kim.
Oh, what'd she say? Click on it real quick.
Thank you. Interesting to everyone.
Oh, thank you, Artsy. Guys. Matthew, everybody. We love everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, right here. Artsy again.
Oh, bye, everyone.
Oh, bye. Much love to all of you guys. And we definitely thank you.
Yeah. So everybody have a great week, and we will see you here next weekend. Same time, same place.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
Yes. And everyone have a great week, and we thank you all for coming on today.
Thank you guys. Bye. Jazz hands.